Yes. This Brendan Long is cursing. He's gonna get us. The FCC is gonna be on our heels.
It's funny that this Billy is really hostile towards me. Post junkie sweep. If you notice, Los Junkies swept
This
the
is a
Phils.
boxing podcast. Let's keep it a boxing podcast.
Wow, he just told you to stay on top.
You see what he's doing?
On topic.
I'm the host of this thing, all right? I'm the left, right, left kid. I don't hear. There's you have a betting segment here, okay?
Yeah, I'm the bet right bet kid.
Yeah, you are. You are. And the upset special saved Billy Betts this week.
Oh, I can't wait to get into
later.
it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Knock 'em Out the Box, episode 90.
90.
My name is Vinnie Paz. I'm here with my co-host, with the co-most, the Mr. Majestic, left, right, left kid, Brendan Long. We're here with Billy Betts. We'll find out later if it was Billy Billions or Billy Bindlesticks. I do know for a fact that someone, B, you know when you don't gamble, but every now and then you'll do a parlay and one thing will fuck it up.
Yeah,
we had that going on for Billy. He would have been a big winner, and it was close.
I'm getting a lot of DMs. We're getting a lot of DMs of people's betting slips, and they're very happy. So
yeah.
Any of those betting sites out there that want to throw us a little sponsorship, we're throwing traffic your way. I think it's time.
Indeed.
I think it's time.
No doubt. Indeed.
Kings.
Shoot us a couple dollars.
Yeah, come on, couple Clamorinos. Y'all can afford it. These degenerates are losing billions by the day.
This kid's living in a boxcar because of you guys.
Depends. He'll tell us later if he is or not. He might have hit big. We'll start off with some news. Jack Catterall Regis Prograis is postponed and will not take place on August 24th due to an injury to Catterall. Fight to be rescheduled for October 26th as injury is not serious. I don't know what happened. Do you?
No, and they had originally just said canceled, and I know that people were flipping out like canceled. Does that mean canceled?
Right.
Usually they say postponed.
Sure. Look, we don't do the thing on this podcast where, there's rumor and innuendo. I'm just going to say for myself, when this happens and there's a relatively quick rescheduling, I always think something's rotten in Denmark. It's my opinion.
Someone maybe after the Josh Taylor victory is eating some good meals.
It could be that, or a little bit maybe high vitamin C count.
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Long? I know nothing about it. I have no drop on it. We had the drop on this next bit of news, but I had no drop on this. On Catterall. Well, Caleb Plant versus Trevor McCumbee is now being rescheduled for the Canelo versus Edgar Berlanga undercard on September 14th in Vegas. Any thoughts on that, B? We heard little rumblings from somebody about that wasn't a cut that postponed it. And that's all I'm going to say. Take that for what you want to take it. This next little bit of news should make you laugh / cringe / give the fans what they want from the curmudgeon, Mudgy Long. Rolly Romero versus Manuel James as well on the undercard. So we said they better stack this card if they want our money. And so far, the card is headlined by Canelo, Edgar Berlanga, and Caleb Plant, Trevor McCumbee, and now Rolly Romero versus Manuel. It's Jaimes. So I'm not sure if it's Manuel Jaimes. I said the word James. It's not spelled James like an American way. If it's Manuel Jaimes, I've never even heard of him.
I thought Rolly Romero quit.
I was certainly convinced that we'd seen the last of Rolly. What's happening?
This is bad. So what happened to Steph Fulton? Is he going to be on the card?
It's not announced yet. So unless
this kid
getting killed.
He's getting killed. He's got to get the fuck out of there. He's got to do what he can to get the fuck.
He's got to get out of there. It's been 13 months. And 13 months without a fight announced. So it's like, it's whatever.
Get him out of there.
You got to get him out of there.
We got to save him.
He's in his prime. He's from Philly. We got to save this kid.
I'm going to come down.
All right. We'll take care of it.
I'm on the way. I'm shooting down Turnpike now.
So what's happening that I've noticed lately, I don't know if you noticed.
Rolly Romero.
We joke about it so often.
Jesus.
Is that
fucking Christ.
Someone will lose, someone will get beat up, someone will pop hot, and we go, all right, that's the last we saw of them. You know, I mean, like in our day. And that's how it went. This is dead from Gabe Rosado.
Jarrell Miller
was our guy. Big Baby Miller. Andy Ruiz. We know he's coming back. Absolutely. He's already got the build. His hand was fucked up.
Yeah, that's when he took gross.
It was gross. But I'm just saying, in your mind, that's your excuse. And you say, no. It's not an excuse. Y'all saw my hand was broken. So now either they're going to just run it back, which is just awful, or they're both going to get other fights. I believe we're going to get into it just quickly. I believe Jarrell Miller won. Everyone else does.
I do too.
So he's going to get another fight that's at least as big as an Andy Ruiz fight.
I think he should get
on that level.
Bucoli.
That's great. Big Bang Jang.
Big Bang Jang and Bucoli would be.
Because we have to start talking about what reality is as opposed to what we want. You know how many times he popped hot, then he lost to Dubois. You said, I already want this guy gone. Now he just lost in a fight that he was handed on a silver platter, to Dubois, and it was stopped. So you must really be thinking in your head, all right, enough of this guy. Then he comes back, gets an Andy Ruiz fight on a huge card with 50-some thousand people. And for all intents and purposes wins, despite what the scorecard said. So he's going to get another big fight. So you have to be losing your mind.
I don't get it.
Do you like Jarrell Miller if he'd never popped hot? Like, do you like the boom bastic Brooklyn thing?
It depends. Like, everyone else that I know that knows him really likes him.
I liked him a lot. I found him.
Except me.
I found him charming. I found his talking not offensive. Do you know that shit talking that we hate and then we hate the person? And then there's just a way where there's this wink wink when they're doing it. That's how Jarrell is.
Yeah, he's a dick.
That's how
yeah. I mean, he's a dick. Like, but it's I know what you're saying. Like, it's like within the confines of fun.
I could never continue to go and stand 10 toes down on any of this because he's a drug cheat. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I know what you're saying.
But I like Jarrell Miller. I thought for how giant he was, he could fight.
Everybody I know that knows him really likes him.
Like
everybody.
Leading up to him getting popped, I was like, this is the next guy from the US.
Right.
Because we had Wilder, and I was like, oh my God, we need a guy.
And Wilder's not likable.
No. And I know you don't like him, but Jarrell Miller has the potential to be one of those guys.
I have this weird thing though, like with me, that like there's often times where I won't like that person that everyone's like, yo, he's cool. He's cool. He's cool. What's the matter? Why don't you like him? And I'm like, I don't know. Just something about him. Like,
I'm like that with there's some rappers that we talk about off air.
Yeah.
That I'm like, no, I know that guy's a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I don't want to go so far as to say that.
Yeah.
I just, you know what it is? I didn't find him clever. And I
know what you mean by that.
Yeah.
I know what you mean by that.
So,
if someone's witty, you're with it. You're just like, he's not. Yeah.
Right. And then it was just like too much.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I don't know. I've seen him out. I don't know, man. Like I said, I have friends who are friends with him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I know people that know him.
And I mean close friends with him. They've known him, they've trained in the same gym with him. They've known him for 10 plus years. And they're like, so, and they know how that I'm like,
yeah.
I had a chance to meet him and I said no.
Yeah, it says a lot. It genuinely says a lot.
I don't know.
I have a Pazzi picks.
Maybe I'm the asshole. I don't know.
I think they're putting in Rolly against this guy, Manuel Jaimes, and Rolly fights a returning Ryan Garcia. That's how I see this being planned out.
I would not be at all surprised by that Pazzi picks. I think that's a great one.
A KOTB episode 90, make a little bookmark that I'm saying, I believe Ryan is good in April. So September to April is, the waiting game. Okay. This has been Ballied About. You and I have mentioned it on air. It seems to be maybe coming to reality, even though I quite enjoyed Loma coming out of character when Shakur Stevenson tried to pull up.
What was that about?
Possibly the most mellow.
Holy moly, guacamole.
Stone-faced guy in the sport, along with Usyk. And Loma saying, let's go now. Let's go outside.
Let's go outside right now.
Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda is being discussed to potentially take place as part of Riyadh season. Eddie Hearn is confirmed. Yeah, there's conversations. I spoke to His Excellency about that fight. He's a big Shakur Stevenson fan, but nothing's confirmed. His Excellency loves great fighters, and Shakur Stevenson is a great fighter. So, you and I spoke about that and its potential. I mean, look, guys, we want unifications. So regardless of how we see it playing out, guys got to fight each other.
Sure.
So I'm not mad at it. We threw out predictions to a fight that hasn't even been made at. You and I, we just think Zepeda's all wrong for Shakur, or the other way around.
Right.
Shakur's all wrong for Zepeda. And the thing that you and I talk about constantly be, can this person maintain that style and activity for that long? If you believe that Zepeda can, then it becomes interesting.
Sure.
Because can I keep a guy that's throwing 100 punches over the 12, which is 1,200 punches over the course of a fight? It becomes much more difficult to box.
I mean, one of the telling things to me is that Shakur is like so, what's the word? Eager to make that fight. Like he's
just eager to make fights. That
particular one, he's like, yes.
Oh, he's chomping at the bit.
Right.
So of that style.
You and I talk about this a lot on the show. We joke around about, and of course they mentioned it in the Madrimov fight with Bud Crawford, the 300 amateur fights, right? As far as the U.S. goes, as far as the U.S. is concerned, Shakur is the U.S. equivalent. Now, has not had 300 fights, but he has a storied amateur career.
And he's looked at as those guys are.
And he has a storied international career. And what I mean by that is he's seen looks from guys that are high volume, and he knows he'll be successful. Don't forget, Shakur is a medalist.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so he's a very accomplished amateur as well. So it's just I think a guy like Shakur is like I'm gonna beat the balls off this dude.
Yeah. If I was forced to say, it reminds me of that, I believe it'll play out similar to both of the Floyd Chino Maidana.
Yeah, I mean fights. Shakur lost to Roabesi Ramirez in the Olympics. He lost to gold medal. I mean, he lost to one of the guys.
Yeah.
So to me, Shakur is like, let's do this. He's very confident. I think his team is confident. And
there's a belt, and there's a belt, and
respect.
He in his head is, this is food.
Right. So there's no. This won't be on Shakur's end if this doesn't get made.
Guys, if you watched the pay-per-view, which we're assuming if you listened to our show, you did.
Or you stole it.
Serhii Al-Sheikh has said that he wants to make Bud versus Canelo or Vergil Ortiz if Canelo does not accept his offer.
Can I just hop in? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and he confirmed he wants to make Shakur Stevenson Williams Zepeda. The reason I'm bringing that up again is because when Turkey al-Sheikh says it, you know that there's not going to be an issue in making it or the paydays. That's why I brought it up, that he said it and not just Eddie. If he says it, I believe it's going to happen. Canelo truly is the guy that controls his own destiny in this sport because of the tens and hundreds of millions he's made. He can actually say no to a monstrous bag, Canelo, if he chooses to. You know what I mean? He has now generational wealth, his kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Most of these other guys don't, you know, certainly not Shakur, certainly not William Zepeda. So a big payday for both of them, you know what I mean? Sure. Comes close to retirement.
And legacy.
It's a absolutely. That's a great win for whoever wins. You know, if Zepeda was to pull it off, you're talking upset of the year whenever it happens. And if Shakur does what we think he does, Zepeda's an undefeated goon who throws tons of punches and a champion. So there's really no, you know, unless someone gets sparked out, there's really no loser in that fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
Unless someone gets done dirty. I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
No. Don't be sorry. My bad. What I'm getting, we've talked about this, Vin.
Yeah.
I think you know what I'm going to say.
I think I do, and then I want to ask you a question after you say it.
Do you, in your head, think that anyone has Turkey al-Sheikh's ear? Meaning to say to him, stop playing with your toys? Like, we get it.
No.
Unless the fight is signed, stop talking about these hypotheticals, because what that does is it generates this chatter. And then what that also does is shit like what Oscar pulled with Zepeda. Like, no, we're not going to make that fight. You know, then the promoters get involved and no one talked to me. What I'm saying is, Turkey, since you're listening, you're dealing with a lot of American egos here and British egos, right? Egos. Promoters have big egos, right? That's why we know who these guys are.
Yeah.
Their egos, right? I think oftentimes he's hurting their egos. So someone like Oscar, who, let's be honest, he doesn't really need to make William Zepeda Shakur Stevenson, right? It doesn't make him that much or less wealthier if that fight happens or not.
No. He's also putting in one of his best guys on.
Right. He could potentially kill that fight if he feels like he's not included.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think the more we see some of these Saudi fights here in the States and the more that it gets integrated into part of our lexicon, he'll have to sort of censor himself in terms of saying stuff like that, because I think that it generates chatter, yes, but if there's no fight at the end of that chatter and it just goes on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, the next thing, then it's a cried wolf scenario, and you know, no one's ever going to take the guy serious.
Well, here's how I respond to that, and I agree with all that, by the way. This isn't a contradictory statement. Was it on this show or Broad Street Breakdown? I think it was me and you. We were somehow talking about the Rolling Stones and how old they were and how long, if you do the math, you know, Mick is 80 and they were, 20 years old when they start, you know, 60, the better part of 60 years, the better part of it. This has been their life. And when your entire life has been as a celebrity, I tend to think those people like don't know how to pump gas, don't know how to correctly order.
Right. I think it was BSB.
Okay. So nonetheless, that was something that was discussed. And I was talking about these people who are lifelong famous. You know what I mean? So a Macaulay Culkin, so that type. There is a detachment from reality where you go, like, I don't think these people can go into the Wawa or a Dwayne Reed or something and successfully navigate through the store. And I'm not saying this for laughs. I know this for a fact. I mean, you have to be a high level of fame. You know what I mean? But Howard Stern has joked about it. Like, I don't know. There was an episode of Comedians in Cars with Coffee, and him and Jerry went into a store and they were guessing. Bro, I'm not famous, right? I have no idea how much things cost. If I'm eating dinner with family and someone says eggs were da-da-da, like it's high, I have no idea what that means. I just pay for things. I have no idea what anything, everything. Oh, gas prices, Biden. I have no idea whether or not gas is expensive. And I'm not the fucking Rolling Stones or fucking Macaulay Culkin. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the point I'm getting to, I've just made a short story long. Bro, these sheikhs, these people who have money that we can't comprehend, that laugh at people that are rich in America as far as money.
Sure. It's trillions of dollars.
He doesn't even understand that etiquette of, I better not say this, because if it's not even part of the way that his mind, the construct of his mind works.
Well, there's and I'm paraphrasing. There's a famous quote from John F. Kennedy that he only knew about the Great Depression through books and news articles.
Right.
While growing up during the Great Depression.
Right, as a Kennedy.
Because Joe Kennedy was so rich.
Yes.
That they just, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, what is that?
Right.
What is that?
So,
and this is similar. And when you talked about it, someone in their ear, bro, those aren't really people that you can say anything to.
Right. They're just, what do you mean I can't have it? I want it now.
It's very much like
and that's sort of how he comes off, like, but I want it now.
Yes.
And
yes. Who did he say that to? He said, are we going to make this, when he first came in and people were greeting him?
Yeah.
I believe it was Shakur.
I don't know.
Whatever that he was referring, he said, I want the fight now.
Right.
Like, this wasn't, the other thing
yes. And the other thing he did in the beginning was like talk about guys multiple weight classes apart.
Yeah.
And I think they also had to be like,
that's really where you get into what you talk about as playing with toys.
Right. Like it's not, let me digress after this because I don't want to harp on that. I just don't think
I don't either, and he's done great stuff so far. You know what I mean?
And I don't want to go. I don't think that a little bit of self-censorship would be swell.
I don't disagree. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Agree. I concur. Okay.
We went around the world to walk across the street there to both agree.
Right.
Yeah. Lastly, this is odd. This is very odd. Eddie Reynoso has revealed that they're eyeing a potential fight for Canelo in Japan in December if he beats Edgar Berlanga on September 14th. So after he concusses Berlanga, 3 months later, now who are we talking about?
Tour with Muhammad.
Yeah. You said it. In my hand. Is he doing the Joe Louis Bum of the Month Club?
He's gonna.
Is that what's happening now? And then
I think so.
So December, then back in May, are any of them going to be a big fight? You and I don't know what.
Bro, he was. I believe it was today or yesterday. I think he was on Sway, on Shade 45. Like he's doing radio spots now.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when was the last time Canelo promoted a fight?
Yeah. I believe our last prediction, if you want to call it that, is that he's going to fight these type of fights until he's done.
And either that or until he gets the bag he wants from
Turkey Al Sheikh.
And and he said it on Sway today. Did you hear the interview? I just heard a clip from the interview. So they asked him about Bud Crawford, and he said it's easy work for me.
Uh-huh.
He wants to pay me what I want. Sure, I'll do it. I don't. Paraphrasing again, I don't think it's a good fight. He said, from what I've seen of Crawford, he said, straight, with all due respect, he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
He's a small guy. I'm a bigger guy.
Yeah.
He moves around a lot. That doesn't make for a great fight. He said, however, I watched his fight on Saturday and he wasn't moving around a lot.
He was not.
He said, right. That's not good for him if we fight.
Right.
He said, but if he moves around a lot and then he wants to fight me as the big guy and a small guy, that's not going to make for a good. And he's not wrong. See, people take that as, oh, see, look, he doesn't want to fight guys that move around. Nah, man, Canelo, by his style, is a counterpuncher. So if someone's not going to come at him and he's got to follow the guy and fight off the front foot, he'll win. It won't look good. He'll get Charlo. It'll be the same. It'll be the same look as the Charlo
good
fight,
parallel.
where he's trying to follow and the person's not engaging. I don't think Bud will not engage. I think Bud will engage.
Agreed.
I think it's going to look, the fight will look very similar if they do fight. And again, not to digress and to go into this rabbit hole of this.
Yeah.
But it was talked about today, and my point is that Canelo is actually promoting the Berlanga fight, which Canelo has not promoted had to promote a fight in years.
Yeah.
Because he's Canelo. He's the promotion. He doesn't,
Yeah,
I mean,
he
he does the press conferences, but goes on tour.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting down with Sway.
With Sway, yeah, on Sirius. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think
it would look like Triple G Kell Brook. I think it'll look good for the first few rounds, and then it won't.
Well, I think there's something you brought up multiple times since this was thought of as a hypothetical matchup to it actually seeing like it might happen, is you kept repeating over and over and over what Canelo said. It's lose-lose for me.
Right.
I beat up a small guy and I win, and it does nothing. And if I lose,
really
does nothing. So
yeah.
I'm not getting into defending that or not defending it, but I'm not going to disagree with him.
Right.
It's like, when you were, who really did it? Like Duran beating Iran Barkley was the fucking craziest thing ever, bro. The guy started at lightweight and beat the real guy at what? That was at 75,
and I'll be honest with you,
was
60.
He beat Iran Barkley at middle?
Yeah, at middle.
That was 68.
No, I don't think there was a 68 yet. The Donnie Lalonde and
Sugar Ray
was the inaugural.
Okay, yeah, because there was the 2 belts, remember?
Yeah.
In 2
divisions.
Again,
but that was, I don't think Ray Leonard gets enough credit for that fight, to be honest with you. Lalonde was good.
Yeah, he was very good. He was very good. The Iran Barkley Duran.
And again, let's be honest and clear here. Canelo is better than Iran Barkley. He's a better fighter than Iran Barkley.
Agreed.
So
agreed.
Not taking anything away from,
but Bud is special. We're not going to say he's better than Roberto Duran's top 5 DOA.
Right.
We're not going to say that. But Bud is special. He's not good. He's not great. Bud is special. There's 3 levels.
Right. He's in my. He's all-time great.
He's an all-time great now.
He's an all-time great now.
Agreed.
And he's a cool ass motherfucker.
That's a fucking cool motherfucker.
That's a cool motherfucker, dude. Which
he
also
cracks me up, man.
Factors into my bias of Bud, that I like him so much that he's.
Well, I want to get.
He's a cool motherfucker.
Into the fight, I want to get into.
Yeah.
Did him fighting at 54 change your opinion from before? But we won't do it yet. But we have to discuss that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's important.
You want to hop into that?
Let's hop into the reviews of the whole card. So
worst to first.
Yes, I like doing it that way. So
Me too.
I talked about Andy Cruz, Antonio Moran. I thought this was going to go the distance.
Okay, I've been chomping at the bit. I haven't spoken to you about this.
We haven't.
You and I have been talking more than usual. Even we talk every day.
Correct.
So I was okay. Let it rip on Cruz because you had questions about Cruz.
I have more now. More, not less.
Go.
So you saw him have this guy on Queer Street and immediately thought Vinny's wrong. I'm with this kid.
I did not think Vinny's wrong.
He was getting clipped. He got clipped and hurt bad at one point.
He did. That was right before he stopped him.
Yes. Now Antonio Moran is one of those guys, bro. We know these type of fighters. They have some losses. They've been around, but they have a bunch of fights and a bunch of experience.
And he's big.
He's a big guy. Look, Andy Cruz, I told you, I wrote you, fuck. You said what? I said I wrote all these well thought out notes as the fight was happening.
Oh,
and my email somehow erased them. I had all these. Andy Cruz boxes beautifully. I see a lot of Yuri Gamboa in him.
You know where he trains out of?
Does he train with Ismail Salas?
Who?
Oh, he's in Philly. Andy Cruz trains out of Philly.
Yeah,
with Boots' pop.
Yeah,
yes,
with Bozianis. He has a Philly beard.
Yes,
he lives in Philly.
Yeah.
And is incorporating Philly style.
Well, we don't have it's not a huge Cuban population here, so he's probably running with the Dominicans because maybe he looks like he could be Dominican a little bit.
Let me tell you
to the
something. I
Papa
think
store.
he probably just hangs with Boots. He lives with Boots. I think
Yeah, probably.
You guys got him in bunk beds.
Right.
Makes him fight every night.
Look, I like Andy Cruz as a human being. I think he's skilled. I fucking love Yuri Gamboa. I love Yuri Ortiz Gamboa. But'll even tell you he gave him his toughest fight. He hit like a mule. He couldn't get out of the way of punches, because he kept his hands down and wouldn't change it, not to get too off track. Andy Cruz does do that. Outside, he's more responsible defensively, but I think he's going to get chinned. But I think he's good. I think they're
going to correct it with Cruz. I think that he's a work in progress. That's his fourth fight.
Correct.
Fourth professional fight. He has in boxing right now, I'll say it, he has the fastest counter right hand in boxing. Wow. You throw a punch at him, get the fuck out of the way, because that counter right hand is coming right back.
Yeah, you better throw it and slip.
He switches stances.
He does.
Very fluidly.
Box beautifully.
Beautifully.
Gets caught. They got to fix that.
He recovered.
He did.
He recovered. That's where Gamboa's recovery ability might have been some of the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, gets up and fucking looks like, he would always get up, Yuri Gamboa.
Yeah,
but
he would get up.
Never.
His eyes were never clear. Never. Like, holy shit. Yeah, I remember Darling Jimenez.
Yes.
Almost fucking took him out. And
wasn't it Darley with a Y?
Darley's Jimenez.
Yeah.
I remember him the New York amateur scene.
Mm-hmm. He could fight.
Really well.
He's really good.
Kid from the Bronx.
Guys, this is how tough the sport is. You might not know who he was, and he was really good.
It's really fucking good.
Because the sport is that fucking
He was really good. I think he was from Washington Heights and fought out of.
He was Dominican, wasn't he?
Yeah, maybe John's gym in the Bronx. I don't know. One of his contemporaries would know better. If anybody from this area around our age listens to the show, you guys might know. But write us at kotbboxing@gmail.com and correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was John's gym he boxed out of. John's gym is a really good gym in the Bronx. It's either there or could have been. It doesn't matter.
Talk to me about me not being sold on Andy Cruz before the fight, and now talk to me about.
Yeah, I want to know. You have more questions
because
Moran was a tough cookie. Big guy,
very tough,
long
rangy guy, heavy hands.
Yeah,
cracked him a couple times, like you said. Okay, the once I believe he was seriously hurt once. I believe he was a couple times. This is boxing, no problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And again, fourth fight.
Yes, but that comes with these amateur guys who had 200, 150, 200, 300 fights. You move them quickly because they already know. I'll tell you guys why it's skipped. Because when you come up, your first 15 fights around there, could be 12, 14, 15, around there, you're fighting Uber guys and you're getting rounds in and you're getting in professional experience, cameras, lights. This guy has man strength. I just came from a place where I was fighting some kids. How am I going to respond when a guy doesn't drop? All of these type of things. You're working
gloves,
on
no headgear.
No headgear. You're working on that. So, but when someone appears special, you skip all those fights. Look at Madrimov. Because he had 300 amateur fights. He can skip it, and he proved it. For you people saying that, Beterbiev has 19 fights, and this guy got, or Lomachenko has 20. Yeah, he has 400 amateur fights. He lost one and avenged it. You guys, you have to understand, you're fighting every style in the world, going to other countries, other languages, other cultures. You're in bunk beds. You're just with these guys. All you're talking and living is boxing. So when you're a thoroughbred like that, my question is, Andy Cruz looked better offensively than I thought before, but I believe that he is chinny. That is I believe that he's going to get chinned by a similar type guy of Antonio Moran that's better because Moran's a tough guy, fought a lot of guys, can crack a little bit, but isn't elite. You know what I mean? I think a rangy puncher is trouble for him. Are there rangy punchers around those divisions? There is. There's rangy, like how about this? Be a guy like a young Richard Comey.
Okay.
Would be, I think, is a problematic style for him. A tall, rangy guy who can crack. I think that look, the Cuban style, it's very difficult for me to say if someone's how old is Andy Cruz? Like 26, 28. So let's just say, for argument's sake, for 26 of those years, right? You're fighting in a particular style. What you think is being corrected by Boots' father and in Philadelphia, how much do you think can be changed in a fight is the real question. When you look at who really changed someone, my head probably goes to Pacquiao with Freddie.
Freddie, right.
You know, like biggest, if you were to show a kid, you know what I mean? Like, yo, watch this style pre this trainer and watch this style post this trainer. It's so glaring.
Right.
Can you really get a guy to change something? When we say a guy has his hands low, right? Me and you. Why is he going to bring his hands up? Yoriorkis Gamboa never did it, B, until the very end.
No, but I also think with Gamboa, he didn't want to. He was stubborn. And
that's fair. That's fair.
I never saw him immersing himself. He stayed in Miami. You know what I mean? Like, he never immersed himself in for Cruz. It tells me a lot that Cruz moved to Philly.
I agree.
All right. And he's not going to be around, like you said, we don't have Cubans here. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be around his countrymen. He's not going to be around people. He's not going to be in the sun.
He's here to fight.
It gets cold in Philly.
He's here to fight. You're right. I can't say you're wrong about anything.
I'm team Andy Cruz.
I like Andy Cruz as a person.
Give him a title shot.
I'm rooting for him. I'm worried about his defense. I
think you have good reason to be worried.
I think he's offensively damn good and showed it off again.
I think maybe he listens to the show a couple times. Corrects it.
He could very well.
I think Bozy, we talk to him next time we see him. We tell him what we think.
I text this Boots and say, put your father on the phone.
Listen
this Boots. Get your Padre on the phone.
Listen this Boots. That's the funniest thing you ever said.
Get out of the way of that right hand.
90 episodes. Listen this Boots.
I'm now going to say I like Andy Cruz. I think I
like the whole Philly thing.
So do I. I love it. How can I not? I just want him to be I think there's defensive deficiencies there. You think he can clean them up? All you have to do.
I just want to make it clear. I don't think you're wrong.
No. It's cool.
Okay.
It's cool. I just look. There's guys that we root. I want this guy to come out. He's got 4 fights in his 5th, 6th, 7th fight and shut me up. Right. Make me look like I was wrong. That's what I want from Andy Cruz. And I should have said that when I first said, "Oh, I have some issues here."
Right.
With them moving him fast and stuff like that.
He seemed a lot more composed this fight than his previous 2 that I saw.
This is the best I've ever seen him look in every calculable measure, except defensively. He looked like a pro. There wasn't that amateur style brought into the pros, which does not work. At least aesthetically, it doesn't work. You can win, but aesthetically, it's the pits. That was gone. He sat down on his shots, which I didn't think he was doing enough. Before. But again, we have 3 fights to look at before
his counter right cross is crazy. It's so beautiful. I will say this: the last maybe 2 fights ago, last time I really sat down and paid attention, he was like a Super Bowl, bouncing all over the place.
All over the place. He wasn't sitting down on the shots.
Right.
He sat down and hurt this guy.
Well,
the guy got up and didn't know where he was at.
Bozy told him, he said, "What are you waiting for? Knock him out. You can knock this guy out."
Yeah, and I picked the over.
And he knocked him out.
You know, and he knocked him out. So I should probably put an asterisk and say, guys, prior to this weekend, both of us saw him fight 3 times. What am I? You know, I can only assess what I'm given, and that's all I was doing. You know, if by 7, 8 fights we have a Lomachenko type guy on our hands, I'm going to say it.
Right.
You know, but he got cracked, and it worried me. Let's move on. What was the next fight? Was it David Morrell? Kalajic? How do I kept butchering the first
Just call him
time.
Hot Rod. Just call him Hot Rod.
What a tough kid.
Yeah, he's good. He trains out of Florida. He's a tough guy.
Tough kid. I picked the over. It went the over. I
said Morrell was going to knock him out.
So did I. I just picked the over though.
Right.
We both said destruction. Destruction. I said it's just going to come later, and you said, "Nah, I think it's going to be around 4." I think the over under was 4.5, wasn't it? Was it the other one? I just picked the over because I didn't have much faith in 68. You've been talking a lot. You made a really great point a bunch of episodes ago about moving up and where it's hardest to do. And it's that 135 to 1. Now I'm starting to see this
168 to 75
to 75 leap is bigger than has historically been looked at. And we weren't counting Canelo, and now I am. I'm going, wait, Benavidez and now Morrell. And then I said, oh shit, Canelo too. I forgot just at the time, oh wait, Bivol.
To me, this puts more respect on Dre Ward's name.
Hold on. Okay. Yeah. No. I was going, because we share the same brain, that's who I was going to, but I want to disagree. So go ahead.
No, disagree. Go ahead.
I thought he lost the first Kovalev fight, and I still, years later, don't know what happened in the second one. He gets hit in the dong. He's holding his dong, meaning Kovalev,
right,
and it gets called. I still don't. There's never a clear explanation.
Well, he wasn't defending himself, I guess.
I still think it's one of the most bizarre endings.
I think 68 to 75 is a huge leap. Bottom line, we've seen guys be successful. 60 to 75 was too much, and they came up with another division, and probably because they needed to. There's a lot of guys that wouldn't be world champs. Who else recently went to 75? I put some respect on Calzaghe's name. I put respect on Roy's name.
But was like Jean Pascal at 68 at times was a monster and wasn't at 75.
But against who? Pascal he beat Chad Dawson at 75. Yes, the highlight reel, Jean Pascal, when he was in Montreal, like beating the brakes off of the likes of I don't know, name them. 75 is like my favorite division.
Yeah.
I love that division historically.
I'm just starting to think, and this is something new for me, that leap from 68 to 75 might be.
I think it's similar from 40 to 47.
40 and 40 to 47. Yeah.
Yeah. It's you're getting in there with big boys. You know what I mean? Like, again, okay, call me a historian. These are the classic original weight classes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight,
yeah,
lightweight. So again, when a guy goes from super feather to lightweight, 30 to 35, we oftentimes see the result of like Navarrete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he just doesn't look good at that weight because now you're in a different bone structure class, right?
Density, punching power.
The guys' backs are wider.
Yeah.
They're more muscular.
Yep.
You know, like
their punch resistance is different. You land a clean shot on the button of a guy like Baranchik, who has Tweety birds above his head at your division, and the guy walks through it, and you go, fuck.
Bigger guy. Doesn't affect them the same way. Right. And look, we'll get to it, but Isaac Cruz moving to 40.
Yes.
You just see there's guys that fit in certain weight classes. Cruz beating Rolly is not going to give you the barometer unit at 40.
No, not at all. And they used it as one.
Sure. I mean, he won a fucking belt.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Hot Rod did really well.
I thought Hot Rod did well.
He deserves, a shot at something. I don't mean a title, but another get booked again.
Agreed. Do you think Morrell and Benavidez, who now is saying he's staying at 75, right? David Benavidez is now going to stay at 75.
Yeah.
Right. We covered that.
Correct.
Do you think Morrell and Benavidez underestimated the...
Yes.
Okay.
I think they underestimated that division. They underestimated
the weight jump.
They overestimated their power moving up.
So I now,
think if I'm them and their camps, I'm saying the only fight is each other, because
I concur.
The elite guys, and let's be frank here of who that is, that there's two guys.
Right.
Those two beat the shit out of the other two.
Okay.
Bivol and Beterbiev
is there a way for those two guys, Morrell but hey, just real quick, we've never seen Beterbiev except once look vulnerable, correct? And maybe against Marcus Brown with
a little bit Marcus Brown. Agreed.
All right. Marcus
Brown 1.5
Marcus Brown fought the fight of his life that night.
Yes, and can crack, and it's tough.
Right.
And ended up destroyed. But did well while he hung around. The guy had some moments.
We've seen Bivol fight down to competition and not look spectacular.
Yes.
And we came to not expect much from him.
Correct. Right? Depending on his competition. Correct.
Looked great against Zurdo. Obviously, the fight against Canelo goes without saying.
Yeah.
Now, do we give the same pass to Morrell and Benavidez? We give them one more shot at the weight. Now, I'm sure both guys will do a little bit more strength and conditioning, right? They may have the speed, they may lack the strength at that weight. I think a little strength and conditioning for Benavidez wouldn't hurt. I don't know what his regimen is now, but he doesn't. Morrell looks like he's cut from stone, that guy.
Look, coming from a guy like me, I know every one of our listeners is going to roll their eyes, but at 68 and 75, David Benavidez is flabby.
Right.
That can be problematic and have everything to do with what you're saying, a strength and conditioning coach. You shouldn't be flabby at certain weights, man.
Right. But I mean, we've seen that, right? Historically. I mean, obviously, the guy who we're going to talk about in the main event on Saturday is hitting some sort of weights. He's doing some weight training.
Absolutely.
Because he looks totally different.
He's also a freak athletically. Did you see him hit that 50-yard pass?
Did you see him? I saw him playing basketball in the lead up to this.
They're playing flag football.
Yeah, I saw it.
He avoids the sack and then throws a 50-yard bomb right on the dollar signs. I mean, it's Roy all over again.
I saw him shooting threes.
Yeah, wild.
With guys on him.
Right.
This isn't like watching Pacquiao and Floyd play basketball because they suck.
No. Yeah.
Like, he's got really great form. It's a fallback three. He steps in and kind of
a fadeaway. He's hitting.
Bro, if you can pull it up, watch it. It's from the top of the key with a guy on him, and it's wet. No diddy.
Yeah, same with that 50-yard pass. He's scrambling,
and then he's
out of the pocket. He throws the bomb and it right on the dollar.
Right,
signs.
And then they show him fucking wrestling, and he's beating the shit out of everybody in some other
Timberlands.
In Tim's, and then there was another footage of him deadlifting like 300 pounds in jeans without warming up.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, do we see these guys acclimate to the weight? I personally hope we do, but as of right now, I want to agree with my co-host here and say there's no better time for Morrell and Benavidez to mix it up.
How about I defend them a little bit with something? Hey, They both went in against real guys.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't do that, big.
Right.
They go in there against, I won't say tomato cans, but hey, maybe a little bit of an easy touch. Feel how you feel up there. See if you feel the guy's power. This Hot Rod was landing some shit. He had a nice jab working. He was landing some shit. He moved well.
Morrell and Benavidez, both guys looked huge at 68, height-wise. Now they're in there both with Gvozdyk and Hot Rod, and both guys looked normal.
Normal.
They looked average.
Yeah, not small, just like normal guys. They looked at. I mean,
it was a clear victory. Morrell won. I got to see him again at the weight.
Yeah, it's the same. I have the same exact answer. It was one of those fights where it wasn't difficult to score, but I do believe Hot Rod had some success, which makes me say the same thing that I thought about Gvozdyk having success. The difference is Gvozdyk was at one point, there were 3 guys in the division at that point.
Sure.
And he was one of the 3.
Right.
So the only thing we can say is
he retired Adonis Stevenson. He put him in a coma.
Yeah. He literally
put him in a coma.
I want to see David Morrell back quick.
Agreed.
I thought getting rounds there was good, but now, all right, let's get him back.
No damage, no cuts.
No, nothing. Let's get him back in 3 months. Let's get him back in November. What was next? Was it Andy Ruiz, Big Baby Miller?
No, it was Jared Anderson and Martin Boccoli.
Pazzi Picks said if he throws with him and comes up the middle, he can catch him and knock him out. Brennan's doing the zipper because he spoke over my pick. I have tape. I have tape on it. I go, I won't be surprised. What was my exact quote? I won't be surprised if Martin Boccoli wins and this Brendan talks right over me. If I was betting money on it prior, I would have said Jared Anderson in a boring decision where he didn't look good. But I also said I won't be surprised if Martin Boccoli wins. B, please start talking again. He was walking through everything Jared Anderson went through, like the fucking Terminator in T2.
I didn't want to speak over you again and have you air our dirty laundry.
Well, you spoke over a prediction, which was very rude.
To not only to your Twitter followers, but your Instagram followers. And I'm sure you sent this to extended family all through anybody on your list. You made an audio clip.
I did.
And then posted it.
I did.
Called me nasty names on the internet. And you hurt me. I was hurt at work today. He said some very nasty things to me.
I Frank Rizzo'd you?
Frank Rizzo'd me.
Yeah.
No, you Sal Rosenberg'd me.
I did. I did.
You want to sue me? Sue everybody.
He beat the shit out of it.
I couldn't believe it. The second knockdown, he skimmed him. It didn't even look like he hit him that hard. And Anderson went down.
Martin Boccoli reminds me of the comeback George Foreman.
That's a perfect description. That's what he looks like. I didn't realize he had like a gut like that.
I'm a big fan.
I'm a big fan of Martin Boccoli.
I'm a huge Martin Boccoli fan now.
Not to pat myself on the back here, I've never been sold on Jared Anderson. I was never sold on Jared Anderson.
Absolutely were not sold on Jared Anderson. I thought he was the goods when they were in the bubble during COVID.
Bro.
And then it started fading on the show.
I'm telling you right now that there are a few folks, and not the obvious ones, that I'm friends or friendly with that said, and again, not the most obvious one, not the most obvious pundit that I'm friends with.
Yeah.
That said Jared Anderson will be a top 15 to 25 heavyweight all time.
Wow.
Said that
you
to
never
me
told me that.
Within the last 2 years has said that. And I went, you're bugging. Like,
wow.
We sort of had an argument about it in a car together.
I just want to defend myself, guys.
You never said
anything like that.
And I was like, I started laughing.
Really good when the bubble.
I started laughing. Like laughing. And I'm telling you, and I've seen this guy around. He's so athletic. He's this. He could have been this sport player or that sport player or this. He's the cut from the cloth of great heavyweights who were great athletes all around. Yada, blah, 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 blah. And I said, he don't have it upstairs, bro. I remember saying that. I said, no. And I said, and frankly, he's not that good. I said, his defense has holes in it. No. I've seen him spar in the gym. I've seen this. I've seen that. And again, the person is a way more accomplished boxing personality than I'll ever be. And I was like, no, absolutely not. With that said, Anderson gets spanked. I think, I'm going to be honest with you, you don't come back from this.
I think he returns and gets destroyed.
We'll see him again?
I think he gets destroyed by a guy. They're going to put him in soft. Purposely, they're going to put him in soft, and that guy's going to spark him out.
This is the same prediction as Deontay Wilder.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And I was what was I off with Wilder? One fight or two?
Yeah. Yeah, well, he lost to Joseph Parker and then Big Bang Zhang.
Right. So but I was one off because he beat
Helenius. Yeah, well,
yeah.
I don't think Helenius
I said he's you're really giving me credit here then. So you're saying I was right.
Well, look at Helenius. So Helenius dies against Deontay Wilder. Yes. I was at that fight.
Yes.
Fights AJ and then gets popped for whatever reason, like a year later. The test pop. So
and isn't he banned like 2 years or something?
Yeah, what is it like? The longer it takes to find your test, the longer.
Odd.
I think it's multiple failed tests.
Well, yeah, and let's just asterisk it. It also goes to show you how when you're a cash cow, this Ryan Garcia is going to be back before we know it. No one cares about Helenius.
Right,
so
right.
This poor bastard's out for how long now? This Savannah bitch. You Savannah bitch is out for how long?
This ice hole.
Yeah, this fargan ice hole.
This fargan ice hole.
He can't make a fucking clams for his family, but this Ryan Garcia is gonna get a $20 million bag in about 6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months, right?
Hey, I think Jared Anderson's done, guys. I think he gets beat up in his comeback fight. If he ekes it out like Wilder did against a Helenius guy, like if they really put him in soft, and you know what I mean by that, big.
Yeah.
I mean like this guy's not you can't even find who he is. If they put him in against that kind of guy, he'll probably throw a stiff jab and get the guy out of there.
Yeah.
But as soon as he's in against you and I just use the word real guys, and I assume our listeners know what that means because we have some listeners that really know the sport, some that work for magazines, some that are on live air, on ESPN, DAZN, PBC, whatever, you know what I mean? We have some people that know way more than we do, and I don't know why they listen to us because we're idiots, you know, these people. But certainly that is my belief. If they put him in, if Bob puts him in soft enough, meaning a club fighter, maybe he'll eke by that guy. You know, if they put him in against a guy that's even remotely capable of handling himself in there, he gets sparked out. So that's my prediction. That if they put him in with a capable guy, he's out in the next fight. If they give him a tomato can, maybe he gets by that and then gets destroyed. But he's done to me. He's a cuckoo bird as well. Everyone was bigging up his post-fight interview and how respectful and humble he was being. And to me, it was almost watching a guy lose it. He was those things. But first off, like, I don't know about dropping the N-bomb. You know, meaning other fighters. That's hairy, man. You're on a world stage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Some black folk don't like that shit. You know what I mean? But
it also goes with what I've said on this show. Why are we conducting interviews after a guy just got his brains punched out of his?
Yes. It's a classic. It's a classic Mussolini statement. This guy just got short circuited. You put a mic in his face.
What do you think happened in there? Like,
and maybe he's the most greatest recent example. You know, lots of, said fuck a bunch of times. Not, hey man, it's paid. He's allowed to. I'm just saying it's like there's a level of, the this fucking thing and that fucking thing and the N-word and the da. There's people that find that off-putting. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And considering what he's done recently with the car chase and the gun, and then the thing he did on Instagram that I told you about, where he was dissing the ESPN dudes just for talking about it. No one cut a promo on him like, yo, we hate it. They were reporting what happened. And
He doesn't
fuck
seem
this guy and fuck that guy.
He doesn't seem ready for the lights.
No,
So
he's not, bro. He's cooked up top. He's zapped.
Right.
And everyone we know that fights or trains will tell you that that's the most dangerous attribute to have. If you're going to have bad, not habits, but if one of your negatives is I don't keep my right hand up enough, well, we can constantly work on that to the point where Mick was trying to make Rocco change stance.
Yeah.
I'm going to tie this hand this way if I
Right.
have to. We can work on that through drills. There is nothing you can do up top to a guy like Ryan Garcia, to Jared Anderson, to a Mike, when Mike was off the rails when he was fighting.
Right.
You can seek help. I don't mean these people are all going to die or die in a shootout or something crazy. You don't wish that on anyone, but you have to get help. And these people I'm naming don't seem to be getting it.
No.
Jared Anderson we talked a couple fights ago, but he's already doing the I don't want to fight a long time. So now he clearly doesn't love it. Of that.
Didn't like Roy pull him aside and they did like something.
Yes.
Where like Roy was trying,
Yes. Yes, he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't want it, man. His thing is, I'm big, athletic, and I can fight, and I want the bag, and then I want to get out of here. And it's like, you got to be good to get the bag.
Right.
This was just your biggest opportunity. Some people were saying it was too early. Bacoli hits, obviously, guys, you saw it. He hits like a fucking freight train. He only has the one loss to Michael Hunter. He was hurt in that fight, if it matters to you.
Right.
In the fight against Michael Hunter. He said, I want to write him back with Michael Hunter. And they were like, fuck that.
Right.
And Michael Hunter jumped in the ring because he's like, well, there might be money here with the shake.
Right.
But I don't do that to you. Bacoli,
no.
I put him in there. Big Bang Jang. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. I love that fight. Big Bang Jang, Martin Bacoli. Big boy.
What are we saying? Jared Anderson's done. We're both saying it. Comes back, gets beat up. And within what? 2 fights? 3 tops?
There's no controversy here between me and you. There's no.
No. He's cooked. Guys, remember we said that he's done. Jared Anderson, B was never sold. I was, and then jumped off the bandwagon about a year ago and started saying, I see this isn't the next American guy. You know what I mean? So, but I definitely was on board. So I'm not going to lie about that.
I think I tried to mention last week, like, it's important for some fans and pundits and boxing people to have this American heavyweight, right? And I wanted to piggyback on what I said last week, where I was like, I just don't think highly of heavyweights.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, I don't have that nostalgic thing where I need like an American heavyweight champion.
Yeah, because you and I spoke about that. So how nationalism is weird.
Right. So I think that's why this country, we're so quick to anoint these big boys. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and to the point we made about Andy Cruz, line up 18 cans in front of Jared Anderson, he's going to win.
Yeah.
They put a real guy in front of him who's Bacoli's probably at the level of Antonio Moran. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little better, maybe.
Maybe a little better.
Yeah, and he took his head off. Yeah.
So, Hot Rod, better than both those guys, fighting Morrell. So Anderson gets the first real stiff test of his career and fails.
It gets fucking destroyed.
Right. Onto fatter and bigger heavyweights.
Andy Ruiz, Big Baby Miller.
I don't ever need to see either one of these fucking guys fight again. That shit was terrible.
I think there's something to say for a guy like Bacoli's build, and then he destroys, he destroys Jared Anderson. A guy like a 40-something-year-old George Foreman, who came back and was fighting the best and doing well, even when he lost, but won the championship again, but fought guys well.
He's fighting Tommy fucking Morrison in his prime. He's fighting Michael Moore winning in
Evander Holyfield.
Right. Unbelievable.
At what, 44 years old when he won?
Yeah.
And you don't get mad at George being flabby. He was the scariest guy in the world in the 70s. Right. You'd cross the street if you saw him. Now you'd give Big George a hug. You know what I mean? Right. I think there's something to be said for being a little bit flabby and looking good in there, and then showing the world that you have no respect for the sport. I think there's a huge gap there. When I say, David Benavidez looks a little flabby, that's not a shot. That's just like, hey, maybe a strength and conditioning coach could help. David Benavidez will also throw 1,000 punches in there and destroy a top-level competition.
Andy Ruiz was 275 pounds.
Yeah, I think it's the second heaviest he's ever been. Big Baby against Dubois was like 330 something. So he did, for what it's worth, lost like 30 pounds, 20 or 30.
Yeah.
So he clearly did some work, whatever that means, guys. Don't take it too literally. They were both. What fight did I say? Oh, it was Joyce and Derek Chisora. Remember what my note said? These guys both look slow and old, and then I said because they're both slow
and old.
These guys both came out looking fat
and sloppy
and slovenly, and because they're fat and slovenly,
right?
And guys, before you say, "Hey, you're fat," I'm not fighting for a potential shot at a title. I'm also way older than them.
Yeah, and before you retired, up until last year, you still moved around that stage fast and athletically.
Thank you.
I'll give you that.
Thank you, pal.
These guys,
I still gave but there's some serious to what you said. I still gave 110%.
You gave 110%.
You know what I'm saying? And ran around younger than kids half my age on the stage. I don't stand there with my hand in my pocket, and that's equivalent. Those kids pay to see me. So while I'm not in the shape I was in my 20s, you know, and I'm trying to handle that now by dropping some lbs. There is something where you go, we jokingly say, this guy's fat, this guy's fat, and they might go in there and look great, because that's how they're fucking built. You're not, you know, it could be culturally. We're Italian, there's fucking carbs galore in our culture. If you're coming there with a little gut, but you're throwing 100 punches around, okay. These look like guys who are training and eating shitty.
Andy Ruiz, a little discipline. We've seen, I think it was 2 years ago, he dropped a ton of weight, then I think the fight got canceled. He fights once a year, these long layoffs. There is not one human activity you do less of and get better at. I've said it on the show. It is the mantra I live by. There is not one human activity you do less of and get better at.
I love that quote.
Ruiz, what the fuck did you do to your fucking career? I can't stand watching this guy anymore. I can't stand the way he talks about other fighters. You have a fantastic win that you let slip through your fingers.
Slip through your fingers. And B, he didn't just let it slip through his fingers over a couple years. When did they run it back, B? Within 6 months?
Yeah.
He put on all this weight.
Getting trained.
God, the first Mexican-American heavyweight of all time. You got 2 countries behind you.
You could have
all of Mexico, and you got the U.S.
You're talking a $20 million a fighter. He could have been.
Yes, could have been.
And look,
very fast hands.
Right, and
very fast hands could put punches together.
I'm a fucking nobody, right? But
so am I.
I don't have the talent he has. I don't know what the hell went on with this guy. Jarrell Miller, for what it's worth, with the fucking drug cheat, as far as his attitude is concerned, in my opinion, Jarrell Miller's made the most of not being a superstar, right? He sort of came out of nowhere, remember? All of a sudden,
absolutely did.
There was this
kickboxing, then he just shows up.
Right. And then
together some good wins.
Right.
Had the AJ fight, which was monstrous, and gets popped. Another guy who you said let it slip through his fingers.
And Ruiz steps in.
Yes. And the whole point
of Miller getting booked against AJ was to lose, but he was a New Yorker to sell the press conference.
Correct.
That was the whole point.
He did.
But this, first of all, Andy Ruiz's hand, it looks like an awful injury.
It's bad.
So he'll be out for another extended period of time.
Very extended. And it'll be longer than the injury requires, too. Because of the way
who he is.
Because of who he is and who he's become. He's not getting younger.
Jarrell Miller will be right back.
Right back, and he'll be back against a name. You guys know what that means.
I'm not even in denial about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's what'll happen.
While he was suspended, Pazzi Picks called his comeback, and he comes back. He loses to Dubois. I'm just a fan of Daniel Dubois. I think he's really fucking good. I think the quit against Joe Joyce was very overstated. Guys, your orbital bone is, I cannot describe the level of pain. And you get hit there and it's broken, and then keep getting hit. You might never see again, etc. You know, some people thought that body shot on Usyk, not me. Some people thought that was a clean shot and that should have been a knock out. For what it's worth, I thought he had some rounds where he looked good against Usyk, who is, you know, definitely 1, 2, or 3 for me and you. You know, it's just like Bud Inoue and Usyk and just, you know, are fluid with us until our new list comes out. You know, so
soon, by the way.
Yeah, we were waiting for Bud. It's a question on if we want to wait on Bivol and Beterbiev or not. That's what B and I have to decide.
I think we should put one out before then.
If we're gonna do that, then it's gonna be real soon, guys.
Soon. Yeah, I think put one out before then, and then we'll put one out like in November.
Yeah. Guys, Jarrell Miller won that fight. Awful cards. Doesn't matter if you like him, drug cheat stuff. B's made it known where he stands. He's here now, guys. You know, he's here now.
And he won the fight.
Gets sparked out or loses bad, you know, if he stays in shape, he'll hang around with, you know, lower top 10 guys.
I don't,
maybe even the middle.
Right.
Maybe.
I don't want to make excuses for Ruiz in the hand. Maybe it did have something to do with it. Ruiz was landing big in the beginning. Yeah. He couldn't hurt or move Miller.
No, big baby Miller's got a chin on him, man. Bro, he's got a chin on him. Because Andy was slinging them dogs while his shit before it was hurt. I guess it was hurt midway.
And he was doing it after. I mean,
yeah.
Right, Ruiz is tough.
Probably numbed up.
Right.
And he kept throwing it. It was a bad.
It's gross.
Bone was
sticking out.
The bone was sticking out, guys. If you didn't see it,
I don't know if it's a dislocation or a break or both. It was gross.
Yeah, you're talking 6 to 8 weeks in a cast with that, and then however long it is, you're not going to see it.
And that's if he doesn't have surgery.
Correct.
I don't know. I haven't heard a thing.
Surgery, right? So, what do you say? Another Jared Anderson on the undercard of the next big card, next Riyadh season? Is that your prediction?
Jared Anderson?
Oh no! I'm sorry.
Jarrell Miller.
Miller. I'm sorry.
The
big baby thing and them fighting over it's got me confused because the big
Turkey Alashiki seems to like Jarrell Miller.
He does.
So Jarrell Miller, the salesman he is, said praise be to Allah after it. He's now Muslim. He became Muslim, I believe, before he fought Dubois.
Apparently, he took a shahada when he went over there for that Saudi card.
So I have my I'm not going to get into.
Are you familiar? We won't get into this too much. I just want to bring this up. Of that girl, Brittany Renner. She's just like known for a bit.
The Hua.
She just posted herself like in hijab, and like look, may Allah guide them. How about we leave it at that? May God guide them. But I don't know what I think
whatever helps them sleep at night. Listen, I don't know what Miller's deal is. Whatever the case may be, and I'm the worst guy. I don't even know like anything about religion.
Yeah.
I was raised Catholic for what it's worth. I made my confirmation. Yeah. And that was it. I stopped. Yeah. So, and you've known me for a long time now. Yeah. I care what.
No, I don't even think you've ever even mentioned it.
No.
Well, so what do you think they do next?
I think this is if the Pope was in charge of boxing, these guys would be making the sign.
Staunch Catholics and the ashes on their head. On Ash Wednesday.
It looks like bird shit.
Well, it's wild.
I always get confused.
Right. Why is this guy like, on his head?
Yeah. All right.
What do you think is next? Another guy whose name we know?
Yeah. They'll match him with someone, whoever's
top 10 guy, lower bottom half of top 10?
It depends on,
who's there?
It depends on where. So what would the next fight be?
I was going to ask you, what's the next Riyadh season card? Would it be October? Do they get him back in there in 2 months?
No, I don't think they get him in there in 2 months.
Too quick considering it went the distance and it was tough.
Honestly, dude, he may get Bakoli. If they, that would be, they both.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Look, I'm going to just say on record, I'd like it to be the next Riyadh season. When is Is it late in the month, Bivol Beterbiev, of October? What's it like, the 17th?
October, I thought it was 12th. October 12th?
Can't remember.
Okay. I'll keep talking. I'll look it up.
You have over, from the day they fought, 2.5 months. If you're not hurt, and he wasn't, they both fought. Jarrell Miller fought and Bacoli on the same card, the very beginning, of August.
Yep.
Third day of August. So you're talking 10 weeks. Take 2 weeks off, and then you have an 8-week camp. Let's get them back on the next Riyadh season.
Okay.
But I'd like to know who they have in the top 10. You have AJ, Usyk, Fury, Dubois.
It's not great.
Who else is hanging around? Joe Joyce. Is he still hanging around? Did he still have the top 10?
They dropped him. So yeah. Yo, what about Jarrell Miller, Derek Chisora?
He said he's not done. So make that fight. Make that fight on Riyadh season.
And I think we get Big Bang Zhang
and Bacoli.
Let's
make that too. If you want to keep us interested in heavyweights, just make interesting fights, and we'll watch them. If you make Jarrell Miller, War Chisora, I'll watch that. Throw that on as the second or third undercard.
Okay.
In 10 weeks.
Right.
I don't know what Jarrell Miller can do. It all comes down to how highly I think of Dubois and what happens against Dubois versus AJ, because that's happening really soon. If AJ blows him out, then it's going to be hard for me to stick on what I stand on, that those 2 losses, both of them were weird.
Right.
Weird. I'm going to stick on weird. I'm not going to say he won them. He didn't.
Yeah.
He's technically stopped, but they were both weird for their own reasons.
Sure.
There was weird the situation was weird. I think Dubois is really good. If he gets beat up, then AJ's I don't know what to tell you.
Really good.
If he is. And if Dubois was to look really good, but even lose, I'd say, hey, that Miller loss, not so bad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What did we have next? This Pitbull Cruz with our upset special. Double upset special, which has never happened. We both saw exactly what happened. Isaac Cruz, Jose Valenzuela, 12 rounds for the lightweight WBA title. We said if this kid sits in the pocket and trades, not a good idea. If he jabs,
light welterweight shots, right? Wasn't it? It was the light welterweight. Was it lightweight?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. 140. I remember.
Right. Cruz. Right. Exactly. Both guys were lightweights, and then fought at 140. One guy,
he moved up and fought Rolly and got a belt.
Right. One guy, Cruz. Rayo, looks like he's suited for 140, and one guy, Isaac Cruz, doesn't look like he belongs outside of the strawweight division.
Correct.
He's got like a 63-inch reach.
Yeah, he's just short and stocky, and everything we said. He comes forward, he hits hard, he throws a lot of punches. It's not hard to get out of the way of them. He could be countered. You just go back and listen to instead of us analyzing what happened, go back and listen to what we said what would happen, because that's what happened. It will be odd to harp on this one because we both said it. Jab. If he comes in with the looping shots, counter, and bop, that uppercut was rocking his head back all night. Heck of a chin on Isaac Cruz. We already knew that because he stayed in with Tank.
Rayo can crack.
Yes. So and he's good. He's good. I like Rayo, man. He's really
I like
good.
Him. I hope he gets like the bag now where he doesn't have to like have a job.
Me too. I hope he gets that I'm a professional fighter bag.
Yeah.
Robert Garcia, great work, right?
Agreed. Cruz, not to get overly analytical, Valenzuela did everything he needed to do.
Everything.
Right. Did you see him pulling guard? He was pulling guard and throwing punches over it.
I did.
The counter uppercuts he was throwing from a southpaw stance. Beautiful. Worked the jab, southpaw jab when he needed to.
The jab was working all night. It was beautiful all night. There was times where he was doing it where I saw a befuddled guy in Pitbull.
Oh yeah.
And go, hey man, Rayo, if you want to do this, just do this.
Right. Pitbull's got one speed.
Yeah.
And by the way,
you texted me Can you believe that some people thought the Bud fight was a robbery? Do you know I saw Mad Pitbull got robbed posts? Did I tell
Look,
you
man,
that?
I get your guy is a fan favorite.
Yeah.
For those of you out there that are saying that this was a robbery, stop saying you're a boxing fan and say you're a boxer fan, if that's the case, because this was not a robbery. Rayo, as far as I'm concerned, kicked his ass to.
I'm going to use a word that we don't use lightly on Knock Him Out the Box. He put on a clinic.
Put on a clinic.
Everything you're supposed to do. If you're that coach, who you could not ask your charge to do more or listen more. Stay on don't mix it up with him. And hey, when he mixed it up with him,
the best thing he did, I thought, Valenzuela, was changing speeds. Not every jab was a power jab. Not every punch was a power. Touch, 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 whap. Touch, touch.
He was touching him from the outside for rangefinder. Then he would crack him with a jab. Then he would touch him as a rangefinder. Then he'd go. It was beautiful.
And I thought it was really nice. And again, I love these guys that pull guard. You know what I mean? Pull guard. Because Cruz just has those muffs on.
Yep.
And he tries to come in. And again, it's just hook, hook, hook. He threw 6 jabs apparently the whole fight.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna. How do you expect to win a fight with 6 jabs?
I love the thing. You know, I bring him up a lot, I guess, because he was my guy for a long time. No diddy. I love those shots around the earmuffs.
Yeah.
The Golovkin would throw.
Yeah.
He was landing those too. Every now and then he'd throw them. He wasn't committing because, you know, you can get clipped by this guy.
Sure.
But I love those shots. People that think that real tight defense can't be penetrated when you got the earmuffs on. It can be. You have to be a special guy, but you can get around there and you can go downstairs because his arms are so short that when the earmuffs are on, the solar plexus and both rib cages are exposed.
That was funny looking. Rayo almost had to like take a knee.
Yeah, to
throw the body shots.
Yes. Yeah, he beautiful body work, beautiful uppercuts. The jab, like you said, changing speeds on it, touching him, keeping him out of range so he doesn't get clipped, and knowing exactly where his feet were and where Pitbull's feet were, so he didn't get clipped.
This win,
Isaac Cruz isn't that good, guys. No. I get that he can. You know, you match him right, we can get some fun fights.
Sure.
If you like him, cool. He seems like a good family man. You know what I mean? Seems like a nice guy. I have no heat with Isaac Cruz. He's not elite.
The only heat I have with him is he looks like Sammy the Bull Gravano.
He does.
Looks just like him.
He does. You got to put him in there, guys, with other guys that like to trade and stand there and do rock'em sock'em. And you can make, I've said it before, guys, there's a level in this sport where you can make a nice living being that kind of guy.
Sure.
A guy who's always in tough fights. Right. You can be that guy. You know what I mean? There are guys who, you know, and you're not getting $8 million a fight. You know, you might get $500,000. You keep putting those fights together and you made a career, you know, and you have a nest egg. I'm sure he got a great payday for Tank. I don't know what the Rolly payday was. I don't know what this payday was.
I don't know.
You know, he's been in, there are 3 big events, you know, he'll be back. Definitely. If there's people saying he won, which is fucking ludicrous, that means you, if you're him, can work off that. How you said Jarrell Miller can work, his personality can work off that. I'm not saying they share a personality.
I mean,
but you can work off. I won my fight. Look, these people said it.
That's essentially what he said after the fight.
Yeah. So
he said, "You hear the crowd."
He did. He said, people here know who won. And I'm like, well,
it wasn't you.
You're Mexican from Mexico, even though Valenzuela is as well. He came here and
grew up in Washington.
In Washington. So Mexican fans it's the Oscar treatment.
Sure.
Like, you know, it's you got 2 Mexican guys. You know, it's
Jose Valenzuela.
He's good.
Sky's the limit, I think.
He's good, man.
Really good. I like the way he fights. He's tough. His expression didn't change the whole fight. He was focused. He was there. He was in the pocket the whole time where he needed to be, at range when he needed to be. Fantastic fight, fantastic strategy. Good for him.
How about Jose Venezuela and a returning Devin Haney unification fight? Easy to make.
Sure. You know what I also like? That this blows up the Isaac Cruz Tank rematch.
Because I said on the air that's what's going to happen, and now it's not happening.
I just love that it's blown.
I do too.
Because no one wanted to see it.
No, and now he's going to have to fight someone real.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right.
Main event.
Drum roll. I'm going to go on the limb right here and say that Terrence Crawford, moving up, three-time undisputed champion, right? Isn't that that is disputed? Didn't they?
Yeah, not by me and you.
Right.
He was the man at 35. He was the man at 40. He was the man at 47. When you're the man at a division, I don't care what you say is undisputed or disputed. You were the guy.
Right.
To beat the guy, to beat the guy. The ring says you're the guy, you're the guy.
He moved up.
That's how it's always been.
And in my opinion,
the only belt that matters is Ring Magazine's belt.
He fought the best guy available.
Yes.
This is the best guy at 154 pounds.
If we don't consider Bud a 154 pounder because he's a floater, he could go 47, 60, 68. You know what I mean? Those special people. You got, Usyk moved and Inoue's moving. These guys are fluid in their weights, right?
Mm-hmm.
I take away Bud, and Madrimov's the best fighter at 54 still.
Correct. Still.
If we're just saying Bud is a floater, if he wants to stay and hang around, he's the guy.
Let's just get right into it.
You said there were cries of robbery. I
looked
into it and saw it. I didn't when you told me. Then I looked into it. I went on Madrimov's page. Of course, that's where they're going to be, but I went on there purposely because I thought he fought a great fight, and I really like him. And he's a great fighter. And, all races, creeds, and colors, you got robbed. Americans, obviously people from Uzbekistan, different languages on there, but all you got robbed. Did you score it? I didn't ask you the night.
I did.
I still haven't asked you your score. So
8-4.
Now. I had it 8-4. If you had it 115, 113, I'm not mad at you. My 8-4 was pretty strong, though.
Pretty strong. And I want you to tell me if you had it 7-5 for Madrimov, because that's what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell me the rounds. I don't want you to tell me 7-5 for Madrimov and not tell me the rounds. I want you to tell me the rounds. You can write me at KOTBboxing@gmail.com. You'll also be writing Vinny, and you'll be writing Billy, even though Billy seems absent on this fucking episode. Fuck this guy's doing. He's probably boozing up. I want you to. He was supposed to weigh in for the last fight talk because he won the upset special. So, I want you to write us and tell us round by round how you scored it, and I will personally go back and watch that round. And if I'm wrong, I will agree with you, and if I'm right, I will out you on this podcast by name.
Jeez.
And because I'm tired of this shit. Whenever there's a close fight,
Billy texted us, leave me alone. That's rude.
Whenever there's a close fight, and you and I talk about it, and I'm going to go ahead and call him out, and you got mad at me the other night. This is where you came up with my new nickname. All right?
Oh, you're a curmudgeon. Mudgy Long, Kermy Long?
Mudgy the Whale.
Yeah, which one fits better, Mudgy Long or Kermy Long? Knock 'em Nation.
This is Tony Taro telling me about
Taro's chiming in. He's Benito Mussolini, aka Mudgy Long or Kermy Long.
Todd Grisham should be suspended for the next fight.
Sean Porter should be suspended.
Sean Porter and Todd Grisham. I put a poll up and I said who was the worst, because
I participated in it.
Thanks, buddy. It's, by the way, this Elon, I can't see the voters anymore. You used to be able to see the voters and this Elon took it away.
Okay.
Chris Mannix is a just notorious contrarian. He just goes the unpopular opinion to seem edgy, and
agreed.
It's extremely annoying. Todd Grisham might be the most biased blow-by-blow guy. We're all waiting to see what. Basically, I'm going to take a guy who has 11 straight knockouts. He must knock this guy out or he lost, right? Terrence Crawford can't win a decision because Todd Grisham keeps telling us we're waiting for Crawford to turn it on. No one's watching the southpaw jab that he's landing because you can hear it. It's audible. And Madrimov holds his gloves low. So if there's an audible slap at the end of a jab or a thrown jab, that's a landed punch. He's snapping the guy's head back. What the fuck was going on with this broadcast team? It all seemed like what you always talk about. If a guy doesn't perform to what you expect, he lost. Or if a guy performs better than you thought, he won.
Correct.
So this is where the robbery chatter comes from. And again, man, I didn't this time because I'm trying to switch things up and be better so I can comment on this show. I left the commentary on. And between Sean Porter having Crawford up, 11-1 or something like that, or he had it, what was his score? 10-2?
Oh.
Porter had it like 10-2?
Yeah, no, legit. He had it 6-1 after the 7th. And I was like, okay. I see, that's your guy. He beat you up. So that always comes into play.
Sure.
You want the guy to beat you up to be the greatest of all time. You want him to be Henry Armstrong.
I also think that they need to revert this broadcast team, and I think they sort of do, but the guy can't hold a candle to him. Maybe revert back to or take a page out of HBO's book, and you have a scoring guy, right, in the Harold Letterman role.
Let's get Steve Farhood on these cards because Harold can never be replaced. But Jim,
right? You have a Farhood. You have someone. You have the blow-by-blow in Lampley.
They need Lampley. They need Paul Malignaggi.
Right.
I mean, imagine that. Imagine
Lamps and
Paul Malignaggi, and who can keep their job at the Zone?
Right.
Sergio. Would you keep Sergio?
No, not if you have Paulie. I'm sorry. I really don't want to go after these guys. But again, Todd Grisham really had a problem with that, the way he called the fight. I think he should go back and refamiliarize himself with the sport. We all used to complain about Morrow, but Morrow was just loud and boisterous.
Yeah.
But he would he'd be quite unbiased in his opinion of what was happening, if that makes sense. Grisham seemed to be, well, I'm eagerly waiting to see what the hype is about this Crawford, and I'm just not seeing it. So
right.
I found it odd. Really, maybe it's the length of the card. It was like a 7-hour card, so maybe these guys were tired at the end. But I wasn't impressed with that. I think it swayed people's perception. I'll get into the fight. I think Crawford picking this guy at 54. These are, again, it's another jump for Crawford. Let's not forget. He fought for a long time at 35, moved to 40, moved to 47, moved to 54. The great Floyd Mayweather didn't stick around at 54 either. It was his ceiling in terms of weight. I think we're at Crawford's ceiling in terms of weight. With that said, 7'5", 8'4", Terrence Crawford, no issue with that. I had it 8'4" personally.
As did I.
Madrimov does not throw enough punches. Not sure if he would throw more punches. All the feinting in the world is confusing, but if you're not punching, you're not scoring.
We spoke last week about his weird rhythm, and I said a weird rhythm that great fighters can time weird rhythms.
Right.
And Bud figured it out.
He did. He did. Bud got tagged in this fight.
He got hit clean a couple times. You know, there was the
right hand. Why? One of the things I thought Sean Porter did well was, save for his scoring, was asking the right questions as to what the strategy was. I agreed with that, where he goes, why isn't he switching to orthodox?
Yeah.
And he also, made the point to say that and point out to us about the resetting issue. He said, both these guys keep resetting. This is, he said it early. This is going to be a chess match. This is two guys that are well equipped to be there. And these are two guys trying to figure each other out. It was, I found the fight really fucking entertaining.
So did I. I mean,
I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
I used the words chess match in my tweet. I'm just going to read a tweet when it's my turn to go, because I basically put them, my thoughts in the tweet. Bud switches seamlessly. Madrimov upset that.
Yeah. Yep. He's very athletic.
He's really good, Madrimov.
I thought he was going to get wild and Bud was going to catch him. And it was going to sort of thwart his attack, and it never did.
Yeah, my prediction was that the first half of the fight went the way it did, which it did.
We did. We said touch and go, and then
it turns, and it didn't turn into a beating. It turned into other things. But the more Bud's figuring them out,
last two rounds were Bud
clear,
but cranked it up.
Yes,
and also, can we really discuss something Bud did, which I thought was a fucking wild gamble, because of all the feinting and everything. Because of all the feinting, Bud said, "I'm gonna whack the biggest target available, this guy's gut." And
that's as well in my tweet. I think what we need to do when you and I see a wonky scorecard and say you need to bring this guy in, similar, like you said, for people to write in and tell me what rounds you won. We meaning this sport, if there were to be a national commission,
right?
There has to be something brought to the forefront during training of these judges that pounds into their head, no diddy, that when you rip and land to the body, that's as destructive as something upstairs that rocks somebody. Oh, and you go on body shots alone, Bud wins this fight. If you only go on them, it's 7-5 Bud. If you go on that. He was going downstairs. You said risky, getting hit up top with the right hand, coming back right at you with taking that risk. He was landing such destructive shots to the body with such vigor.
Right.
And I mean,
this is a testament to Madrimov's toughness, because he hung in there after those shots.
At one point, his eye was getting bad, and this guy did not fold under pressure.
No one was talking about that.
Not one person said anything about the eye.
The jab.
Bud's eye was banged up too.
Bud's eye was banged up from Madrimov's right hand, and Madrimov's
from Bud's jab.
From Bud's right hand as well.
Yeah,
it was a jab and a straight right contest. In the end, Bud looked sharp on offense, and I didn't think he looked sharp on defense. That's what I meant to say that at the beginning of this. This guy coming off a year layoff.
Yeah.
More fame and press than he's ever done.
36
years old. Okay. And a new weight. He looks very bulky for his frame. He is not a big guy. No diddy. He's 5'8". I believe they have Madrimov listed at, I've seen 5'8" and 5'9". However, he looks bigger, wider. He's got, big shoulders, big arms.
I think Madrimov can and might go to 60 at some point.
At some point.
I think there's, he can do whatever he wants after this.
The herky-jerky feinting will be a problem for anybody. However, like I said, I think Crawford's jab was the difference. The jab and the body punching was the equalizer.
Agreed.
And of course, the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, like you said, Bud just turned it up.
It set it apart.
Which is something that only special guys can do when you're in there with a big, strong guy that's landed some shit on you.
Right. And I think a lot of us forget, against a herky-jerky sort of strange style, Bud does have some problems.
Yep.
Sean Porter being that problem. They had to tell him, you're losing. And then, of course, the stuff of legends, he goes, what? And runs out and stops him in that round.
Yorkis Gamboa's style was weird. I don't know that I describe it as herky-jerky, but weird style.
And Bud almost had to fight to that style. Like, he was throwing those weird uppercuts from it. And he did it again in this fight.
Yep.
He was throwing those strange sort of like shovel. We talked about
shovel hook.
The shovel hook from distance, which was making me nervous in that I'm a Bud guy.
Yes.
You know what I'm going?
Yeah,
but
you didn't want him to get clipped with a...
But I'm a Madrimov guy now.
So am I.
I love this guy. This guy's a lot of fun. I want to see him again right away.
Right away. Besides them both having eyes a bit swollen, which is, nothing serious, certainly not serious.
You notice we're not used to seeing Bud. We haven't seen him hurt since Mean Machine.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he came back and knocked Mean Machine out. We really haven't seen him challenged.
No.
Agreed. This was a challenge. I want to see Crawford again right away. I don't know against who, so who knows? I would love to see him not against Canelo. I think that Crawford's performance, I think it was a great performance. It's the stuff that champions do. I think it makes it all the more less while, or whatever. What's the opposite of worthwhile? For Canelo to fight him, because now the boo birds will be out. This guy almost lost to Madrimov. He's obviously can't fight at 68. I don't want to say he can't. Canelo's not going to faint for 2.5 minutes of each round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that you make a couple mistakes against Canelo and it might be lights out. He's definitely hits harder than Madrimov. He's bigger. He's a bigger guy all around. I just don't see that fight. Again, Canelo says today, if this guy for Saudi Arabian.
Well, hey, listen, B. It's also like, I don't know that we were ever horny for it before.
You and I definitely weren't.
So
you and I definitely weren't. I don't really know any. It doesn't really appear that boxing fans are.
I don't think there's many boxing heads.
It seems to me like Terrence Crawford and Turki Al-Sheikhi are the two people that really want to fight.
And the people, I think there's those outsider people that kind of don't even know weight classes. Honestly, I'm not being sarcastic here, that don't even know that Bud and Canelo are that far off. You know what I'm saying? There are those people, trust me. I mean, you go to the barbershop to get your cut, that's when you hear it. Why doesn't this one fight that one? The dude who owns a barbershop I used to get cut at told me Manny Pacquiao is pussy because he won't fight Deontay Wilder. That's a quote. And then when I said, one's a heavyweight and one's a natural.
They're literally 100 pounds apart.
Yeah. And he was like, so what? Like that didn't, anyone else would go, oh shit, I didn't know that. He dug in.
Doubled down?
He quadrupled down. It was like my whole cut because he owned it. So he owned the spot.
Right.
So I had to listen to it. And I was like, oh, you're slow.
Right.
Oh, you're slow in the head. You're touched. Okay. We can't talk boxing.
Right. And now I got to get out of here.
And now
I can't. Yeah.
I'll if I can read quickly what I said.
Sure.
And just cut me off if you agree or disagree. I wrote, for whatever it's worth, I had a 116, 112 for Bud. 115, 113 isn't unreasonable. Most people didn't know how good Madrimov is. And because of that, there's always a shock factor. If you didn't know Madrimov, my guess is that 85% of the viewing audience had never seen it before. You were watching and saying, oh shit, this guy is winning this fight. That's a natural reaction to a performance from a guy you thought was an easy touch. Madrimov fought a very intelligent fight and showed the world who he is. He also gained 5 years of experience in the 36 minutes he spent in the ring with Bud. He'll be champion again, and he's a fucking nightmare for anyone at 154 or 160 if he wants to go there. All that said, this sport, be it judges, pundits, fans, etc., really need to start paying more attention to body shots and their importance to the fight and how said fight plays out. Bud's work to the body was brilliant, and it's my opinion that if more people realized that, they'd have a better understanding of what was going on in there and why it was happening. Great chess match. Respect to both gentlemen. That's how I saw it.
Yeah,
I didn't. Robbery is weird to me.
Strange.
I'm not sure what you were watching if you thought you were robbery, unless you're just not a diehard guy.
Well, I've never subscribed to this, and I'm hearing part of this. You got to really
champ. It's very old, bro. I'll be honest. We joke and say in our era, that's before our era, bro.
Before
that's our parents' era. You got it's not you gotta beat it used to be you gotta knock out the champ. Like my father said that. You gotta knock out the champ.
Right.
Like that's what it
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like that's lazy.
It is.
It's lazy.
It's
a lazy stance to take.
It's a lazy take. It's a bad take. It's wrong.
It's wrong.
So I beat you 7-5, but you beat another guy and I have a belt, so I lose.
I lose. Fuck out of here.
We talk about those fights. There's fights that are 7-5. That's 115, 113. That's a close fight, right? Well, guess what? There can be close fights that are clear. We talked about this. We didn't say about Lomachenko won 11-1.
I mean, what kind of integrity? What sport? Where's the intent where you got to really take it from the champ?
Yeah, so what do you have to beat someone 28-0 in football, or else it's a loss?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, so if I win by a last-second field goal,
you lost because you were getting beat the whole game, and you came back with 3 minutes
at
the end, but you lose because you lost 3.5 quarters of the football game. You're dumb if you think that.
You're dumb, and I hate you if you think.
Yeah, agreed.
I hate you.
Like I said, to our parents' era, it was you got to knock out the champ, and that's even dumber. But
it's even dumber.
I digress. But
some of what they think is dumb.
Yes, a lot of what they think is dumb. But the argument now, that some people still hold is now you got to knock out the champ, but it's got to be all close to a shutout, 10-2, 11-1, and it just guys. These are elite guys. We have to repeat, guys. And I know it's preaching to the converted, talking to our listeners. But if you're putting someone onto our podcast, or if you have someone next to you in the car right now, guys, you have to understand that you not knowing who Serhii Madrimov is doesn't mean shit to people who do.
Right.
When you see Inoue mowing through people who are real guys, and you go, I don't fucking know who he is. That's a bum.
That's
a you thing. That's not a us thing. That's not a knock him out the box thing. That's not a Naoya Inoue thing. That's not a boxing, the sport of boxing and its culture and its pundits and people who love this and live it. From live it, meaning guys who train 7 days a week, to writers who 7 days a week are covering a story, to trainers who train people for a living, to guys like us who cover the sport. We're not pro fighters, but I love this more than mostly anything in our lives.
Right.
Outside of family and true love. This is our love. You have a thing. It's like we both love music and boxing. It's why we became friends. You have to understand it's not our fault that you said, who is this guy? He's got 10 fights, not knowing that this guy is one of the most elite amateurs ever. That's not our fault. It's not our fault that you don't know that he laid hands on an undefeated guy in Saudi and beat shit down his leg.
Right.
It's not our fault you don't know that he's a real champion at this weight. That is not our fault, guys. It's your fault, and you really shouldn't be commenting, but these fucking things on our phone allow you to.
You to have a voice.
To just fucking have a voice, and you just say dumb shit.
When you shouldn't. So just shut the fuck up.
Fucking hell, man. You ever see me tweet about hockey? No, I never saw the shit before. Right. And if I fucking had a gun to my head and had to watch that shit, I certainly wouldn't tweet about it. Because I go, what the fuck's going on? These guys just skating in circles?
I told you I don't know the rules, right?
Neither do I. I don't even know what's happening. I just see guys skating with sticks and
I can't
round
follow.
Thing. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what a position is. If you said now, name a position in hockey, I don't know. I don't know.
I would say defense and offense.
Okay. So that's true? I thought all 5 guys played both. Is it 5 guys?
It's 5. I know,
So like
I know that.
Yeah, okay.
Like
I know the goalie tries to stop the thing from going in the thing.
Right. It's actually pretty close to basketball, I think, in terms of.
How dare you? How dare you?
No, I'm saying in terms of gameplay.
I know you fucking schmohawk. I'm just saying. How dare you compare these great sports? There's Canadians everywhere. I don't know what's happening.
These Canucks. Yeah, it's a lot of equipment you need.
I heard it's expensive as fuck.
As fuck. Yeah, you got to pay for ice.
Guys, we are not responsible for you not knowing what you're watching. Okay? And when I'm saying, guys, I reiterate, we know if you're listening to our show, you're ahead. If someone's next to you, you know, or you put on a friend, which we would really like, you know, pass the word around. That's how shows like ours get bigger.
Yeah.
It's not Sean Porter was off, okay? But when he was making points like, yo, the average person doesn't see what I'm seeing, that type of stuff he's correct about.
He's correct about, right.
That type of stuff.
He was off on his scoring.
Correct. But yeah, sorry. I'm excited.
But again,
I get excitable about this shit.
And again, I don't okay. Sean Porter scoring the fight very wide. We also have to check ourselves. Hear me out. We talk about close fights. You could have a close fight and it be a shutout.
Absolutely.
If that's how Porter saw it, you know, every round that
great point. Every round that was close.
It was close. If he gave it to
Bud,
then
it was a close round.
Right.
Go,
if he's saying, well, Bud landed 7 jabs that round, 2 left crosses, an uppercut, and I'm giving him the body work.
Yeah, because I like what he got done in there.
And Madrimov in the middle of the round
landed a nice right hand.
Landed 2 nice right hands. I'm going to give it to Bud while you and I go, damn, he stopped Bud in his tracks. Bud stuck his tongue out. Obviously means he's hurt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or
right. I felt that. I felt that. Good shot.
Right. So you and I are going, all right, that's a Madrimov round. I like some of the stuff he did.
And
he
also Porter liked the other stuff you said.
Right. And
you flipped 2 of those rounds from me and you. You flip 2 of them. If you're Sean Porter, it's 118, 110, and that's a wide card.
That's a wide card.
And you go, maybe he's not so crazy because I liked his work in there better. Guys, another thing.
I want to be clear. I don't agree with Sean Porter's card.
Neither do I. Neither do I. But B, here's another thing that people should know. Again, guys, we know that if you listen, you're ahead. But if you've lured people into our world who aren't super fans, guys, if someone gets cracked and they shake their head no, they were hurt. If someone gets cracked and they stick their tongue out, they were hurt. We're not talking about go to sleep hurt. Right. We're talking about you got me.
You got me. Bud
got me. You can crack. Respect. Bud's so classy. You know, like he's such a class act as an athlete, as a dude. But like, you know, the post, I think when Eddie said what he said, he irked Bud to say things I don't think Bud would have said. Meaning about Madrimov. You know what I'm saying? Because he's got mad respect for Madrimov, bro, and always did. And Bud don't play that I hate people from other countries or I hate people with other colors. Like him and Usyk, they're boys, bro. That's like his dog.
Yeah, right.
That's like his man. And Usyk can barely speak English. Like
right.
Bud
they
loves
everybody,
together, bro.
Right.
Yeah, Bud loves everybody, bro. If there were more Buds in the world and his vision of how things go in race relations, we'd be okay, bro.
Yo, my favorite Buddhism, I told you the other night, is
his homie.
His homie.
With the mullet.
Yeah, with the Il Mullet.
His mullet is luxurious. His Kentucky waterfall. And what kind of tie is it? A bow tie?
Bow tie, yeah.
You know who he reminds me of, Bud's best friend? Riff Raff.
The rapper?
Yeah, he looks like
Riff Raff. He does kind of look like Riff Raff, yeah. He was driving him in the vet, old school vet in the parade they had. Yeah, it's pretty dope. By the way,
you guys love Bud, appreciate him while he's here.
Yeah, also, Bud's homie So Cold. Did you watch him on the Steve Nelson on the
Yes.
undercard on the
Yes,
free portion?
yes, the free portion.
He makes his own trunks. So did you see his trunks?
I didn't know he made his own trunks.
So
Yeah.
his trunks were sagging jeans with the underwear. It was all like one.
Yes, it's sewn in, right?
But he makes that himself, and he also came out dressed like Pac in the Detroit Red Wings. Speaking of hockey,
Yeah,
and the bandana backwards on his head.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm a huge Steve Nelson fan, so shout out to So Cold. He got a
I am too. Hard name too.
Yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. He got a knockout on. I just wanted to mention him because I'm a big fan. And I hope he's next. I actually wrote him, and I don't normally do this. I wrote him and I said, yo, you're next.
Nice.
Because I think he deserves it. I think he deserves a shot. He's a 168 pounder. Let's get that guy a shot.
Yeah, let's get him a good fight.
Let's move on.
All right, what's next for Bud? What do we think? Because we're talking this Canelo.
I don't want it. I'm thinking it's going to be the guy who fights this weekend, Vergil Ortiz.
To me, we haven't talked about his fight yet. To me, being that we're putting this in before we move on, that seems most that's low-hanging fruit, in my opinion. I liked Bud's answer when he said something about how much do you need Canelo or something, and Bud was almost offended. He's like, I don't need Canelo,
right?
Or how much do you want Canelo? However it was worded, it was a little bit off-putting. You know what I mean? This
was Mannix.
Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah.
Again, and I'm not trying to pick on the guy, all right, but it was bad. And Bud gives honest answers when he said, of course it's for legacy, and he goes, of course, financially.
Of course, that's because I mean, you don't turn that bag down if you're Bud Crawford,
but we don't want to see it.
Yeah, and I would say if there was a real guy at 60, even though I think he's peaked frame wise, but there isn't. We've talked about it a couple episodes ago when the Janabek fight got canceled. We said if that's the guy at 60, middleweight's struggling right now, Well, so there's no one to chase there, in my opinion.
Well, we talked about it last time.
What?
Landy Lara and Danny Garcia are fighting for a belt at 160 pounds.
Bud might be drooling for that winner.
Could be.
He will. I think Bud looks strong, sturdy at 54, but don't think he should go up. And I would champion him going up to whoop whoever wins that.
All right.
And getting another one. So guys,
there's some options.
We think Vergil Ortiz or Danny and
it would be crazy if Bud fights Vergil Ortiz and then eventually fights Boots, and Vergil Ortiz and Boots, when we started the show, were the two guys who we wanted to see fight.
That would be crazy.
Right.
They're saying the only fight to make is Boots. I mean, Bud's going to be like, what's the bag?
Right.
I'd rather have Boots Bud if over Vergil Ortiz, in terms of me wanting to see it.
Yeah.
I think, would you or no? Which matchup do you like more?
To me, what I want to see is Boots, Bohachuk, Ortiz winner. I mean, excuse me, Bud, Bohachuk, Ortiz winner.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
That's what I want to see most.
I like that.
I want to see Boots now beat everybody at 47.
47. Yeah. Okay, so guys, we hope you enjoyed the paper. I thought it was a good card, man. I had a good Saturday with it.
I didn't like the concert in the middle.
Awful,
and awkward, and almost like I'm not the biggest Eminem fan.
Yeah, neither am I.
I respect him as a longevity and an artist and all this other stuff. He didn't seem like he said. To me, the guy was like, "Well, I'm friends with Crawford. I just want to walk him out."
Yeah.
And now I got to put on a concert.
Yeah, and they're like, "No, do 80 songs before."
And he seemed like, I think they were doing this, Vin, because of the glove controversy, like Stretch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please, DAZN, Turkey Al-Ashiki, please don't do concerts in the middle of. We're on the East Coast, Vinny and I know Vinny's a night owl, a nocturnal guy, but for the most part, dude, 2 a.m. end time is no bueno. And it's not good for ratings. I didn't like that. Hope they do away with that. You know what they should do? Like Eminem should have opened the show if they were going to do it. But there's no one there, I guess.
Well, B, there was also a lot of wanking off with we're presenting this guy with this. I love Rich Murata, by the way.
Me too, but
love Rich Murata. Why are you giving this guy
Hall of Fame?
Yeah, guy's too much.
Yeah, it was weird. And it was weird timing. Like we're trying to get it fucked up the flow.
It did.
Of the show. But I still couldn't understand the whole glove controversy. So
yeah.
And real quick, just before we go, Crawford's glove burst again, another, which I call Neverlast.
Yeah.
And then he switched to Grants because supposedly he didn't like the Grants that Madrimov had. And he said, all right, well, then I'll just fight in Grants too.
Yeah, that's apparently what happened, which is funny.
Weird. All right.
But
so
just funny.
We got
this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's just go through these because we're pressed for time now.
Yeah. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Is this on ESPN regular or just ESPN Plus?
Both. So it's ESPN.
Okay, guys. So this is cool because the undercards will be on Plus and then they'll switch over to ESPN. Yeah. Luis Alberto Lopez versus Angelo Leo.
I love it.
I love it. I think Luis Alberto Lopez is the best guy there. He's ranked one, but that means nothing to us.
And he's a weird, herky-jerky son of a gun.
Weird. Angelo Leo's good, too.
Gotten better.
Gotten better. Fought like we wanted to happen. On a nice pro box card recently. Looked good. We said these guys are going to start getting fights.
Yep.
And some are going to be for championships, and others are going to be guys that you should look after. Boom. He fights on Pro Box, really good win, title shot on ESPN. Right. Pro Box, mad respect. I like Luis Alberto Lopez by UD.
I got you, and
I think
agree with you.
Leo's sturdy.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was an upset here. Wouldn't be surprised. So if you guys want to take a risk, Billy, but I'm agreeing with Paz in terms of my pick is going to be Luis Alberto Lopez by UD.
You're doing what I did with Jared Anderson. I picked him in a boring fight, but said if he gets sparked out, I won't be shocked.
I won't be surprised if Leo pulls this out.
Wow. Wow. Lindolfo Delgado versus Brian Flores. 10 rounds, junior welters, guys. That's 140. Delgado's 20-0, 15 KOs. Flores is 26-0, 15 KOs. These are usually typical fights where you go, we don't know a lot of the guys they fought, so you kind of go both undefeated. Let's see who's the real guy, because they can't be both real.
No, and this can go two ways. It can either suck, or it can just be like a war of attrition, and two guys beat the hell out of each other. So these are fun. Most guys don't know how to lose yet.
I don't think this is
I agree.
Suck.
It's going to be good.
I think this might be one to watch. Because I'm gonna go as far as saying I'm not comfortable giving a pick here.
No,
I have to know someone.
I kind of have to back off the rest of these in terms of till we get to the DAZN card.
Yeah. Okay. Abraham Perez versus Matthew Grego, 10 rounds flyweights. Abraham Perez is 10-5, 5 KOs. Matthew Griego is 14-0, 10 KOs. Another one. Could just be a war.
Yeah.
Could just be a war. So I'm hyped. Here we go. Your guy. Vito Milnicki versus
they don't have any.
They do.
Oh, they do have.
I wanted to check and say, when B made the list, maybe they have it now.
Yeah.
His name is Laszlo Toth, Toth.
Where does he hail from?
32-8, 20 Ks, 20 KOs. He's been stopped twice. I know no one. I think he's from Hungary. I know no one that he's fought, even who he's lost to. Usually if you go, oh, he got stopped by blah, 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 and blah, 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 it's two people you know. I don't even know the guys who stopped him.
I'm laughing because there is a Hungarian-born Australian geologist of the same name.
I'm a fan of that came up when you look for it.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not going to assume you guys hang on anything I say because I'm an idiot. I've talked extensively about Vito Milnicki. For one, that great white hype thing that is an old thing When people would attach it to G or Loma and stuff, that's just people who don't know boxing. But it actually was a thing at one point.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry Quarry, Jerry Cooney.
Yep.
Jerry, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That did exist.
And it was usually reserved for the heavyweights. Yeah. But
usually was reserved for heavyweights.
Yeah.
I actually believe that it has returned in the form of Vito Mielnicki.
I concur.
I don't believe
the whole Jersey boy thing.
Yes.
The whole
Yes. Look, these are the type of fights that these type of guys, meaning Vito Mielnicki, will lose. This Laszlo Toth might fucking crack him one. It's probable that Mielnicki wins a decision. That's probable.
Yeah.
I won't be shocked if this guy chins him, because that's just how I feel about this kid. It's not a matter of time. It's already happened since I said this. He already had the loss.
He got
you don't write a guy off for having one loss, but
No.
you might.
I don't. He doesn't do anything for me.
I actually think there's been a return of the great white hype, and I believe that it's in Mielnicki, and they're not stopping. They're not going, okay, we were off. They're pushing it.
Right.
Arnold Kagai versus Belmar Preciado, 10 rounds featherweights. Arnold Kagai is really good. He only lost to cool boy Steph.
Yeah.
This Belmar Preciado lost 5 of his last 7. This fight's weird to me. I guess they want to get
they're just filling the card.
Yeah, but he's good, Arnold Kagai. So get him a fight so then he can fight for a title somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, and then Richard Torres, the porn star mustache, and he looks like Baba Booey. Y'all know Howard Stern.
Louis.
Yeah.
He's fighting. He's fighting Joshua Temple, 13-3.
Yeah.
I've kind of had enough of Torres, and
he's really not good. Really not good. I guess my prediction is that he knocks this guy out. I don't think he's good. Let's move on to the zone. One of our guys.
Yep, Vergil Ortiz. In tough.
Serhii Bohachuk, tough. He's got one loss by KO to Brandon Adams, who can fight.
Yep.
Look, man, another guy from the Eastern Bloc with tons and tons of experience.
He beat Mendoza's last time out.
Yep.
Mendoza is very good.
Yep.
This is a tough fight for Ortiz.
This Vergil Ortiz just fucking walks through people that we say that about. You know what I mean? They'll put him in, he's gonna walk it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight. I mean, what is he, 20-0 with 20 knockouts now? Or more?
21.
So this is 22nd
21
fight?
for 21. No one really talks about that, by the way.
They don't.
I mean, it's amazing.
They talk about Beterbiev. It's insane.
They talk about Beterbiev, and Berlanga's entire hype was built that was first round knockouts. Never mind. It was 16 first round.
You're right. You're right.
All right.
No, but still, he destroys people.
All right. So Ortiz and Bohachuk. On the undercard is Charles Conwell and Carrie Gray.
Yeah.
So let's be honest.
I really like Charles Conwell.
Me too. But the ESPN card is way better.
Yeah. He throws bombs. Charles Conwell throws bombs. And I mean, he just.
This Ortiz fight's only 10 rounds. You find that strange? Is it 10 rounder?
When I saw it, I said, I wonder if did
I fuck this up?
No.
Oh, no.
I just said I wonder if he copied and pasted it from.
I did. It's 12 rounds.
Okay.
It's not a 10 rounder. I'm looking at BoxRec. It's 12 rounds. I wonder if they originally had it for a 10 rounder.
Is this Billy dead?
I think so.
Okay, he's dead. That's all right. We can do it on our own.
William,
Billy, is there a line for either one of these main events? ESPN or the Zone? Which one?
Ortiz is the zone one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ortiz is minus 270.
And there's not a over under yet.
No.
So he's almost 3-1. That's a little disrespectful, no, B? Or yeah.
Well, I don't think it's even money.
I don't either.
That Bohachuk's, has a loss, and his best win's Brian Mendoza.
I'd say 185.
Okay.
190. I think Vergil Ortiz stops him in 6 or 7. That's why I wanted to know the line, Billy. The Charles Conwell is 19-0, 14 KOs, throws bombs. Chiari Gray is 18-6. He can pop a little bit, but he's been stopped by Gary O'Sullivan and a guy named Ian Green.
Spike O'Sullivan?
Yeah. So Charles Conwell is going to knock out Chiari Gray. I think Vergil Ortiz, guys, Sergey Bohachuk's really good.
Why do I think Charles Conwell he's only 26? Why in my head is Conwell
like one of those older guys?
35.
Yeah. I was shocked too.
His name is like
an older gentleman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that. I'm looking at this. Okay, so how do you see the Ortiz just doing what he does? Stick, jab, 1-2, throwing hooks, aggressive.
Yeah, and I think that Bohachuk can deal with that for a little bit with his own. I think Bohachuk, look, that style, he can counter well.
Yeah.
From what we know, Ortiz's chin is granite, but that's from what we know. You don't know until you know sometimes, you don't know what you know until you know. Bohachuk, I'd like to see Vergil get cracked, not because I don't love him, because I do. I'd like to see how he responds to that. Yeah. Because like Andy Cruz earlier, I said he got cracked, and you said he took it well. So I'd like to see Bohachuk's them dogs.
Dude, he's got 23 knockouts. 23.
He hits like a mule. So I'd like to. I think this might be fun. I think this might be fun for a while.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. And it's Ortiz again. He was one of our best 47 prospects.
Yeah,
he's up now at 54.
Yeah. I think Bohachuk's busted up by 7, and I don't think it's a one-hitter quitter. I think he's busted up. His face is busted up, and the ref calls it off during the 7th round.
Yeah, here's
the 7th.
Okay,
7th round is happening. Yes, as it's happening, not a corner, you know what I mean. I think the ref enough. I'd like to know who the ref is actually, but I don't.
My guy. In the last.
What's going to happen here?
In the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I
know it hasn't gone past what? The first, second?
1. He's fought 11 rounds in 2 years.
Yeah.
Vergil Ortiz.
I think Bohachuk's really good.
I think so too. I don't love this.
Who did he trash last? Delorme?
Bohachuk?
No.
Mendoza.
Ortiz.
Yeah, in a waste of time fight.
A waste of time fight. So I'm not counting that. Delorme is old. He's never been at 154.
In April, right.
Bohachuk's
bro, this is going to be nuts.
It might be nuts for all 7.
This is a tough one.
This is a sleeper fight, guys, in terms of the attention being drawn to it, opposed to how good it might be. And if we're wrong, we'll tell you next week.
I'll tell you right now, if Vergil Ortiz blows this guy out,
we're looking at something special. Without having a signature win, he's special.
Wow. All right. Prediction.
KO7.
Vergil Ortiz razor thin decision.
Wow. Split?
7-5.
8-4, 7-5. A split decision.
Vergil Ortiz gets hurt mid-rounds.
Wow. Interesting.
We are going to see his medal in this fight.
Interesting. I think we see his medal. I think this Bohachuk cracks him a few times. He eats it.
Mendoza's the only guy to go the distance with Bohachuk.
I know. Besides
Bohachuk getting stopped by Brandon Adams.
Yeah, which I think is fluky, but I don't like saying that. He takes away from the kid's win, Brandon Adams, and he trained hard and he won fair and square. But I do think it's a little bit fluky. Some people get clipped. I think Kashizu, Vince Phillips fight 100 times. I think Kashizu wins 99. But he got clipped. And Vince Phillips did that and was the champion. Take nothing away from him.
All right.
7th round stoppage, guys. This Billy Betts has to decide who
I'm
he's going to
saying,
ride with.
I'm saying,
he knows Mussolini.
razor thin decision. Hard to go against your pick.
Nah, it's not.
If your pick is on, I will admit fault in interrupting you last week.
You should do it. You should do it either way.
No, because right now I'm a little annoyed.
You got that shit-eating grin.
I'm a little annoyed with you. All right. You aired dirty laundry.
Not true. I just spoke the truth. I played a clip that's available to the public.
You threw my clothes. You threw my clothes out of the second story window.
I want you to explain
for the neighbors
how
to see.
when it's out there in the space.
Because no one noticed it. No one noticed it, and
because you talked over me.
And we were talking casually about. It wasn't like I interrupted you. You know,
and you were like, "Oh, I'm long." Right over my exact quote was, I will not be surprised if
there he is.
This big baby gets sparked out and you're yapping.
William. Yeah, he was trying to tell a short story, but it was a long story.
Right.
Something
he knows nothing about.
You
son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
You fargan.
Billy, what are we doing this weekend? How are we betting? What are we doing?
He's got to wait for the line.
And can you tell us about last?
We'll get a little closer. Well, last weekend I had a nice
he had a parlay.
4-fight parlay going with the over-unders. And that one screwed me up, Pat.
Big baby getting sparked out.
Blew up your parlay. But
I just had the over. I wasn't surprised. I just had the over.
Did you have a comeback special with the upset special?
I did.
And
got my money back and then some.
I was going to say, did it right?
Your money back and then some?
I doubled what I bet total.
Yeah. Excellent. And then this week he's got to wait. These fucking places don't put up their over-unders. Like it's some kind of.
It's annoying. I don't know.
It's really annoying.
I think our original. Excuse me. Sorry for that. I think that our original thought process of these guys wait till Vegas waits till the weigh-in. You know, to see if they.
Sure. If someone's drained. If someone's.
Or if they have to blow the whole fight up.
Sure.
You know.
Sure. Yeah.
Dude, and by the way, this latency on the betting lines also goes with what I've said in earlier episodes, why boxing isn't on TV anymore. Because it's too fucking unpredictable. That's what they want. 4 quarters, 2 halves. You know what I mean? Like a thing that we can have time for. The worst case scenario, it goes long. Going short or not happening.
Yeah.
Like
you're right.
If Tom Brady, we always reference Tom Brady.
Yeah.
If Tom Brady crashed his car on the way to Gillette Stadium, right, and blew his legs out, the game is still going to go on.
Yes, he's just going to have a stinky second quarterback, and the line's going to change.
Right, but the game's still going to happen.
Correct. Boxing's the only sport.
Yeah, the fight's off. They don't have they don't have the Brooklyn Brawler waiting
in the win. Hey, whoa! I have heat with the Brook. I told you I almost fought him.
You almost fought the Brooklyn Brawler.
Correct.
You never told this.
Yes, correct.
Can we do a separate podcast on that?
We can. If the people want the Brooklyn Brawler story, I'll give it in a separate episode. I think Billy knows.
I love the Brooklyn. Yeah, I love that story. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. John Cena got me tickets for Royal Rumble, and they were beyond tickets. I was like sitting where the producers sit, and this brawler kept ice grilling me because he in the like, yo, why is this guy here? And I was like, Brooklyn Brawler, we can have it, but the story's long. I'll tell the full story at some point. When it's a slow week.
What is his function with wasn't he like
he was a backstage producer. Like, all right, guys, this is how long the match will be. They're called producers.
What would Pazzi? And now what's great is because of the more monikers we've given you since the beginning of this show,
correct,
are to me more wrestling monikers / manager monikers. The great Pazzini.
Yeah, I'd be like
Bobby the Brain.
Yeah,
you're like Mr. Fuji.
Yeah, the Grand Wizard.
Right.
Yeah, remember him with the gimmick on his head?
Tony Taro, Paul Bearer. Right. So we have Tony Taro, the great Pazzini.
Yeah. That's who wins this Irish Billy, the Scott-O.
You could almost have two personalities.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And I didn't realize this when we started the show. Figured this out through the show that Billy was a high flyer.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should take this show, knock him out the box on the road. Backyard wrestling style. Billy's got experience.
Billy
How
does
could you
it.
not
Billy
think
works.
that I was a high flyer.
Billy works a high flyer match. Me versus Brawler.
You versus Brawler.
He's a paisan. You know that?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, in real life, not the Brawler.
Billy. Yeah, Billy on the.
My backyard wrestling career as Willpower. No one could tap me out because I
didn't know that.
Willpower.
Willpower. And there's also. What
was your finisher, Willpower?
The tornado DDT off the top rope.
No, nice.
Yo, this is insane to me. What are we doing?
Yeah.
This knock him out the box. Whereas we have wrestling guys that came into boxing.
Right.
We'd be boxing guys that go
into wrestling. Billy likes it. Billy likes it.
I
resurrect Willpower.
Wow.
I like this.
Do we have any mail?
Yeah, I'm just gonna read since we went long. Shout out to Isaiah and Sybil Gorilla for writing in, but I'm not.
What up, Isaiah? What up, Sybil Gorilla?
But this popped me. Brent Lewis writes in and he says, Brent Lewis.
What up, Brent?
Because you guys had asked about other countries and what they were paying for their pay-per-views. He said, "Hey guys, $34.99 in Australia, roughly $1,200 US. Love the pod, peace, boys." And I was like,
$1,200.
Was that a joke? I said, "Was that a joke?" I didn't really know what was going on. 6 minutes later, he follows up with a second email. Yo, $12 US. The Irish whiskey is to blame.
Fuck, $12. Fuck you, motherfuckers.
12 smackaroos.
12 fucking clams for a fuck.
I had to take on jobs I didn't want to take.
That's right.
Pay for this thing. I was speaking of Brooklyn.
Billy, he's cooking on the grill. His parents are over. He's got the kids while the fight's going on.
You tried to talk me into ordering it, and you almost got me by your,
I should have. You should have.
My wealth status.
Why didn't you order?
I called him cheap, and he got hot.
Did he?
Yeah, like the humor back and forth stopped.
Oh,
it was like, "Don't go there" or something like that.
Willpower. Willpower.
Willpower. Don't go there.
AKA dollar bill.
Vinny was using
what do you think about that?
Slurs against me.
I was using monetary slurs.
What he does. What about your alter ego now? Dollar bill.
Billy, I believe you should decide on 2 pay-per-views a year. And watch all free things.
We still have to do the group watch. So
yeah.
We've done a live fight. Now
I was just gonna do the most illmatic AO, and I caught myself.
All right.
It was something to the effect of, I won't put names in it. States. New Jersey is in between New York and Philly. So guess what I was going to say?
You'll put it in between.
You're getting close.
Meet in the middle?
No way. No, Billy's was closer. It was gross. Right. So I'm glad I didn't do it.
You guys,
you fuckers done. We are Australia and the UK. I fucking hate you. You're paying not like a half, like of 1/5.
It's insane.
1/6, 1/7. All
right. We're getting ripped off here. Thanks a lot, Obama.
Yeah.
You can at TequilaB24 on Twitter, at I_know_that_kid on IG. Write us at KOTBboxing@gmail.com. Write us or follow us on Instagram at KOTBboxing on Instagram and YouTube. If we put a video out, Bill, at KOTB podcast on YouTube. Vinny.
I am at Vinny_Paz on Twitter, X, whatever you call it now. On IG at BoxCutterPazzi. Anything involving my music, jmtstore.com. My new EP, Jacinto's Praying Mantis, is out now. There's New Army of the Pharaohs merch out now. and announcement for more new music coming soon. And
Bill, is there anything you want to mention that you want to sell, that you want to plug besides yourself?
I'm not plugging myself tonight.
With that said, say goodnight, Billy.
Good night, Billy.
Peace.
Peace.